Does that work better? Okay, yeah. Okay, sorry, I think it changed what my default microphone was on me. Super cool. As though a default, so that's just, whatever, man, okay. 15 minutes of stream in silence. Perfect, perfect. Oh man, that sucks. I should have been paying more attention to that, man. Thanks, Dr. Money Stacks. Man, already my VODs, right? Like, I get, like, 50 views on the VODs, but, like, no one watches the full thing, right? The dramatic drop-off in the first, like, 10 seconds of each VOD is crazy. And, like, now no one's gonna watch because it's not even gonna have sound. Well, at least I can cut it out of the VOD. It just takes longer to upload it, but because you can cut out sections. But at least on YouTube. On Twitch you can't, so no one's gonna listen, and that's unfortunate. Oh well. Oh well, whatever. I don't care. Anyway. Hey, Flower Boy. Okay. Damn it. Okay, anyway, let me start from the beginning. Let me start from the beginning. Okay. I'm just wasting so much time talking, but I need updates. Anyway, well, that's fine. You know what? Now I can summarize everything I said faster. Say it faster now. Yeah, there's something else that, anyway, but yeah, so, basically, this week, sorry, I haven't streamed all week. I was really, really sleepy and tired for most of the week, because I didn't realize how stressed I was last week and over the weekend. And like, the whole, like, you know, sleeping only for a couple hours at a time, and, you know, even when I do sleep at all, it was like for only 30 minutes to an hour, because I had to wake up all the time to refresh the evacuation maps and everything. And, so, you know, I was I was a lot worse from me than I thought, especially like having to deal with like the contaminated water and everything. And now I've just been going out and buying clean water because the water just got too bad. And but but yeah, and just the lack of sleep, not eating very well, because like when you can't use the contaminated water, like you can't make pasta or like soup or like a lot of things that I would normally eat, I can't eat. And I, you know, so it was difficult. But I'm kind of getting things back on track. But like once the stress of it kind of wore down, then I just got very tired. And so that was like around like Wednesday or so, Wednesday, Thursday, and then a little bit today. I've just been like super tired because my sleep schedule is really bad, and like I haven't been like sleeping for like consistent chunks. I've kind of just like been napping because like my sleep schedule pushed so that I was sleeping more during the day during the worst part of the fires rather than at night. And so that like made my sleep schedule really bad. And I haven't been sleeping during the day. I've just been napping. So I haven't been like getting a full sleep. I've just kind of been napping off and on. That's like, and then I've just like done like 10 to 12 hours of napping the past couple days instead of actually sleeping. And I tried to sleep last night, but I just like, I wasn't sleeping well. I was having really bad dreams and stuff, and you know, it wasn't going well. So but yeah. Oh, because I had a really bad headache yesterday evening too. I had a really bad headache. So I was just really stubborn and didn't want to take any Tylenol, but then eventually I did because I couldn't get to sleep, and it was like, I don't know, 2 a.m. and I'm like, I really want to get to sleep. But then I just had bad dreams all night. So anyway, but I forced myself to stream tonight because yeah, I was like, I really should just to make sure I stream. Of course, tomorrow's Spooky Saturday, so I'll still be streaming for Spooky Saturday. But I want to stream because I want to like have not streamed for an entire week. So now it's been like 6 days since I streamed, so it's not a whole week, It's fine. But yeah, the fires are better. They're still not over, but they're getting better. The one across town is like 60% contained, something like that. And then the one by me is now 39% contained. I think they did a lot today. It was like only 22% like this morning or something. Or like last night sometime. I don't really know. Like I said, I haven't been sleeping well, so like it's kind of all over the place. Oh, and I even typed in chat and it didn't even send. I just realized. Oh, because it was making me agree to my chat rules or something. I don't know, man. Anyway, or no, I think I went to type in chat. It was telling me about something. I don't know. Anyway, OBS is not being very kind to me today. I'm kind of sad. Anyway, that's fine. It's fine. You know, it happens. What else was I gonna say? Yeah. My headphones are kind of giving me a headache again, unfortunately, so that's great. Let me take a drink too, because my throat hurts. Anyway, I've been feeling kind of crappy. And hopefully this weekend I'll kind of like get readjusted again, and then probably take a couple weeks to just try to get back on track, into the rhythm of things. But yeah, I don't know. Hard to kind of tell, because like now, like I'm starting to like, you know, settle into things again and get myself back on track. But then next week I go back to work, and like I said, like 30% of the people I work with lost their houses in the fires, right? And that's kind of hard to deal with, and I don't know what that's gonna be like. It's gonna be awkward. I didn't. And though it was stressful for me too, but it's not like I can say anything about being stressed, because, you know, I didn't lose my house. Or, well, my apartment. I don't even have a house, so they have houses. Most of them have houses. But some of them have apartments, and they might have lost apartments too. And, you know, but the point is, you know, they went through a lot worse than, and are still going through a lot worse, and will be going through a lot worse than I am. So, and it's a significant portion of them. So it's just kind of like, what do you do? You know, like, how do you talk about that? That makes things weird. So, you know, it might be particularly exhausting for a while, just socially, and I'm not looking forward to it, to be honest. But like my work, they're like, oh, but we're like a team. We're like a big family community here. We support each other. We're here to connect with each other. And it's like, oh, but I don't like that. And they're like, how do we deal with trauma? We connect with people. And it's like, oh, don't make me. I don't want to. Please don't make me do that. So, you know, it's just like, I don't know, it'll be weird. And yeah, it's just like, I don't know. It's been, and every time I check the internet, there's like new drama. Like all there is drama. Like, I'm just like, what's going on like Twitter or something, right? And it's just drama. It's all that's happening is drama. Like, there was the drama, the like dream drama, right? And then Neil Gaiman drama, and then which is a very different level of drama. But your house was also burnt years ago. It wasn't a natural disaster. It was just shut the stove on. It was your parents. It was an apartment. It was also rented. I see. That still sucks though. That still sucks. Yeah, I had a family member house burned down when I was a kid. And I didn't actively live there, but I had a lot of my stuff there. So you were homeless, and yeah, that is rough. Oh, you're like 14. Yeah, my family member's house burned down when I was 8, I think. So talking about California, yeah, for me, yeah, I live in LA. I'm like very close to the fires. Luckily I haven't been evacuated. Like, I might have been still muted when I was saying this, but for me, at least I didn't lose power or anything. I know a lot of neighborhoods are starting to get back power. The evacuations, at least all around me, are still in place, but luckily I was never evacuated. And I didn't lose power or anything like that, so that's good. I just have, you know, contaminated air and contaminated water. But the air quality apparently switched up really fast. But the water, I think, is still contaminated, so you gotta go to the store and buy all your water, which is really annoying. You saved your PlayStation from the fire. Well, that's good. Priorities. But yeah. But yeah, it's just kind of, you know, it's rough. Like I growing up, right, you know, like in school, there would always be like a kid, you know, whose house burned down or whatever. And, you know, and then they're the kid who shows up in sweatpants to school for, you know, the next few weeks or whatever, and everyone, you know, tries to get, you know, donations to the family and all that sort of stuff. But like that was like the one-off kid, right? Every once in a while. Um but this is like a whole third of the people I work with, which is just like such a large number, you know. It's it's just kind of crazy. Um but uh but yeah, it's just so crazy. Like I said, yeah, and then I turned to the internet and like they just all have their drama with, I will say the Neil Gaiman drama is much more serious. Like at first it was just dream stuff. I'm like, okay, and then Neil Gaiman, I'm like, oh wow, drama on top of drama. Everyone has something to talk about. And then you know, that was a thing. And the Neil Gaiman stuff was like, I don't even know what to make of it. It's wild. Like it's hard when it's like people's personal relationships and stuff, you know. Um, but then what other drama even is there? I don't know. It feels like everyone is like, people are like hungry for drama. They're gonna take anything right now, it looks like, and like twist it. They're gonna try to make people be enemies. They're gonna fight and squabble. Like, I don't know. If I were like a bigger content creator, I'd kind of be really careful with, um, like, not, I don't know, like, people, it doesn't look like most people want to like cancel the creators. They kind of just want to fight like other people, you know, like other fans. It looks like fans want to fight fans. And let's see, what were some of the other little dramas that were going on? Man, I don't even remember. I remembered earlier, but now it's like all just flown out of my head. And TikTok. Oh, like I was saying, I have been saying, I was trying to work. I've been so sleepy this week though. I've been like napping, like I said, instead of actually sleeping properly. But because again, I was really, my sleep was awful during like the worst part of the fires, and then once it kind of died down, I like the, you know, sudden like drop in adrenaline, I guess, that like I didn't know I was running on kind of hit, and then like super tired the past few days. And also because I'm still not sleeping quite properly. So that's why stream probably won't be too long tonight. I kind of want to make sure I get to sleep, if I can somehow get to sleep early and wake up at a reasonable time as well, because I, you know, have work next week, so I gotta get back into the habit of waking up at like 6 or so. But yeah, so I've been trying to do work. Like I wish I was more productive this week. Like, you know, having an extra week off of work sounds fantastic. But you know, I didn't get a chance to do any of the stuff I wanted to. I was like, oh man, it's my chance if I can't. So like for my second like YouTube channel, again, second YouTube channel, Television, like television with a C, except the YouTube channel is It's Television, because, you know, that's the handle that I could get. And I'll be doing like my like a book club thing on there. Our book club was gonna start this month, but I couldn't get it together in time. Kind of a last minute decision, all in all. So it'll start February, and we're gonna do Howl's Moving Castle for February, because it's like Valentine's Day month, so you have to pick something that's kind of romancy, but also not very long, and something that people would want to read. And I think a lot of people haven't read the book for Howl's Moving Castle, which is different from the movie, from the anime. I'm not a big fan of the anime because it's different from the book, and I read the book first. And so I watched the anime and I'm like, this doesn't hit the same. This isn't the same. And then I kind of like started to get a grudge against it because people really like it, and it's like, and they don't even, a lot of people don't even know there is a book, and it's by one of my favorite authors. Like my favorite book is written by Diana Wynne Jones. The Lives of Christopher Chant is written by Diana Wynne Jones, of course, who wrote Howl's Moving Castle, and like so she's one of my favorite authors. and people don't even know the Howl's Moving Castle is a book at all, and let alone have read it. And they just love the movie. They love the movie. They're like, wow, Studio Ghibli did an amazing job, you know, genius work. And it's like, but the book, the book, at least try the book. At least know what comes from the book and what is new. Like, I don't know. I think, I saw something recently that said, like, the movie is from Hal's perspective and the book is from Sophie's perspective. Is kind of like an interesting way to summarize it, I think. Or vice versa, one or the other. I feel like there's more about, like, I feel like the book makes Hal as a less likable character, but that's why you like him, right? He's like less good, but he's more like he's just interesting, right? He's like more vain. I feel like his vanity didn't really come across in the movie, but does come across in the book. And you're like, but that's okay, because we like him anyway. He's vain as hell. But we like him anyway. And and it feels like it's that much more rewarding. Hal in the movie is like, I don't know, they kind of changed him to fit a role. Sophie, I feel, also feels like, I don't know, everyone feels like a little bit of more muted, toned down, almost like, yeah, kind of like a more cartoony version of their book self. Plus the prose is beautiful in Howl's Moving Castle too, at least from what I recall. I haven't read it in a long time, since I was like in middle school or something. So and there's a sequel as well. I think one or two sequels. I think I read the first one. If there's another sequel, I didn't read, like, the third book in the series. I don't think. Maybe I did. But it wasn't as good. The first one is good. So we'll read that, at least from what I remember anyway. So that's our February book club book. And I'll put here before the end of the month, I'll put a video about it, and also a video about how the book club is going to run. Yeah. And then I'm also doing other videos on there about just topics I find interesting, like little, like, video essays about topics I like. And hopefully they turn out okay. And, like, the audience, it doesn't pull in a weird audience, because, like, a lot of them are about spooky stuff, right? Because, like, that's what I like. And my last channel that I had, several years ago, that I started and streamed off of and posted videos off of and everything, the same handle, right? Different channels, obviously, one on YouTube, one on Twitch, and a TikTok, Twitter, all that from my last stuff. And I did, like, video essays on horror related topics on YouTube, but, like, it got a weird audience. And same thing on TikTok, it got a weird audience. By weird audience, I mean, like, middle-aged Trump supporters, I guess. Like, if you talk about, you're like, here's a cool spooky ghost story, like, urban legend about this place, right? And everyone who watches it is like a middle-aged person in a MAGA hat, and I'm like, that's not what I want. So I don't know why that is, and I'm but, like, they're not gonna watch a VTuber though, right? Probably. So maybe that'll keep them away. I don't know who then that will attract, who likes horror and VTubers. I don't know if that's an audience that you can really draw from. But you know what? I'll make an audience. You won't be able to say no to watching my videos. But yeah, so we'll see. I just don't want to end up with a bunch of, like, 50-year-olds in MAGA hats, I don't want that. I'm just saying it because I just don't think that they're gonna fit. I don't think they're gonna fit with me. I don't think so. I'm pretty progressive. I just don't think it's gonna work. Because then they get mad. People get mad, right? Like if they're like really conservative. So like just saying now, if anyone's really conservative, like it's not good. I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna change. I'm pretty progressive, and I'm gonna stay that way. So you know, yeah. So I don't don't plan on coming in and convincing me and changing me, okay? Just saying, just saying. I don't know why I tend to attract a lot of that sometimes, and then they get mad and frustrated when I'm not also really conservative. So you know, just saying. But yeah, but I'm working on stuff for those videos too. I have scripts and things that I had and a bunch of research I had done for my other channel. And I'm like, I'll just kind of tweak it a little bit and you know, put it on this channel instead and just use my VTuber model for it. See how that goes. Let's see. And then so that I'll try to like have like one of those videos a month on that channel too. I love to do more, but like just editing those sorts of videos and everything takes so much time, and I have so much stuff I'm working on. It's so hard to do so much. And then oh, another thing I've been trying to do. So I don't know how. Who knows what the TikTok situation is going to be? I guess Sunday is when TikTok ends, unless someone buys it or something. I am not sure. Like, because we've had, like, there have been so many, like, all TikTok is going away scares, right? For years, right? For years. People have been worried about that. So, but it never has happened. So, like, you know, I don't know. It's possible that it won't, but just in case. And also just because it's fun content either way. I am downloading all of the TikToks that I have ever liked. And I'm gonna put them all together in like, you know, a little video. A series of videos, because it's a lot. And I'm going to react to them. So we'll see all the TikToks that I have liked, and I'll react to them on stream. But it'll be a very long stream. It might have to just be a solid 12-hour stream, because there's a lot. I've liked a lot of TikToks over the years. And because not just from my VTuber TikTok account, right, but also from my old one too. So yeah, a lot of and well, it's not obviously every single TikTok I have liked, because a lot of them people have taken them down, or you know, deleted their accounts, etc., etc. So they're not all like available always, you know. Because I know there are some that I'm definitely missing. But I've been working on downloading them. But like I said, there's a lot. So at some point, I'm gonna do like a 12-hour stream maybe, because it's gonna take a long time. It's gonna take a long time to get through those TikToks. But you know, they're all the ones I like. So you can kind of see what my TikTok experience was like. But they're not, oh hey John Dow, welcome. But they're not like, you know, the negative stuff. They're just the positive things. So, but I'm working on that, and I've been spending a lot of this week working on that because it takes a long time to like download them and stuff. And then what else? What else? I think that is it. Let's see. Oh yeah, and a lot of people are getting Red Note. I will not be getting Red Note because a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'll just learn Mandarin." Guys, you couldn't learn Japanese, one of the easiest languages in the world. What makes you think you're gonna quickly learn Mandarin, one of the hardest languages? Not gonna happen. Hey, Trunk Monkey, welcome. So people's optimism with Red Note is interesting. If the thing is, like, if it gains traction, it's not gonna stick around either. Like, people aren't really aware of the reason Red Note. It's Chinese TikTok, actually owned and run by China and used by the Chinese. People are using it in spite to spite the government for getting rid of TikTok. So they're like, fine, I'll just use actual Chinese TikTok, since TikTok isn't actually run by China. They're still, and they're banning it anyway. So people are like, I'll use actual Chinese TikTok. But it's like, that's not going to last very long. Once the government is like, oh, everyone's like, they're already having to make up a lot of excuses to ban TikTok for that reason. But Red Note does violate that, like, whatever sanction or whatever it is, right? Where we can't use things that report data to the Chinese government. Like, Red Note actually is run by, like, in part by the Chinese government. So, and like, it's already like, regardless, like, even though it probably wouldn't last very long anyway, still, a lot of people don't realize that's why TikTok's being banned, though, right? They're just like, well, why even bother banning TikTok? Because something else will just replace it. It's not the fact that it's a popular social media. That's not the issue. The issue is the connection to China. That's the problem. That's the problem that people don't like, is because the parent company is run by China. So that's their excuse for getting rid of it. I mean, they might have political reasons to want to get rid of it, but like, it's, if something else pops up and takes it, there are other social media sites. People act like TikTok is, well, that's the one that's actually popular. Yeah, like, all these others aren't either. Wits used to revolutionize people, not the way Twitter was. Twitter has a track record of doing a very good job of mobilizing people during things. TikTok, it doesn't, because it has a delayed output for videos and things. Twitter's in real time and does amazing real time work, or at least it used to before Elon ruined it. But it does make sense that people are moving to Red Note. Yeah. Well, they're doing it out of spite, because they're like, fine, TikTok isn't actually run by China, but you're going to take it away anyway. Fine, we're going to go what it is actually run by China. But it's like, guys, then they're just going to take that away. What do you mean? It's not like it's a secret. When they see a bunch of people moving to that one, they're going to get rid of it. But also, they're like, wow, I'm talking to Chinese people and losing decades of my American propaganda. Turns out the Uyghur genocide isn't even real at all. And it's like, oh, no, it is. It is. It's Chinese propaganda that says that it's not. Don't act like the Chinese don't have propaganda. They absolutely do. And you know how we know that it is actually happening is because third-party, unaffiliated international humanitarian groups say it's a major issue. That's how we know, okay? That's how we know it's happening. Because they're unaffiliated with any government, and they are saying that the Uyghur situation is a genocide. And violates a lot of international humanitarian human rights laws. That's how we know. Like, it's not because the US government is saying it, okay? Like, the US government really doesn't talk about it much at all, to be honest. And like, oh, and Taiwan is like, nope. China-Taiwan relationship isn't good either. Don't act like it is. And Tibet, and it's like, God, no. And there's no Chinese censorship at all. There's no censorship in China whatsoever. Really, you're gonna be kidding me? I was just looking up, because, like, again, the author, like, so, one of the best books I read, or series I read last year, right, in 2024, was, Heaven Official's Blessing, right? Which I know is like, Chinese BL, blah, blah, blah. It's actually a really great adventure series. Like, for real, the BL, like, the romance is really good, right? It's not, and then, by the way, it's not very smutty, because it's still Chinese, so she goes light. Like, nothing until, there's nothing, like, and I haven't read it, so I don't know how bad it is, because I didn't read the, like, after chapters, but there's nothing explicit until the after chapters, right? Like, nothing really crazy. It's just like a romance thing, and it's really cute. It's a really cute romance. But it's like 8 books or something of, like, really good adventure, right? It's just really good, just pure adventure, right? It's really good. And based off of, like, Chinese mythology and Taoism, right? And I like Taoism, right? I've always kind of like, well, I mean, it's a little oversimplistic in a lot of ways, but I still like it. It's a cute little philosophy, not to demean actual Taoists, but the core premise of it is mm, I don't know if I agree, but I mean, a lot of people in Chinese history didn't agree, for instance. That's why it's not the only philosophy in China. But anyway, the point is that the author of Heaven Official's Blessing, people are like, is she in jail or not? That's the question. Because apparently Heaven Official's Blessing was, I think, the last of her series that she's released, and she hasn't published anything since 2017. Um, so people are like, was she in jail? But apparently some people are saying she wasn't jailed for writing like a BL story. She was jailed for self-publishing her novels rather than, because that's illegal in China. And she what instead of going through an approved Chinese publisher, and that's why she had been jailed. Which again, yeah, what's censorship? There's no censorship. That's no. It's just approval to make sure the stuff is good. Of course. A Chinese publisher wouldn't dare turn down LGBTQ representation, would they? Absolutely not. It's not like what is her name? Shirin Zhao? Is that Shirin Zhao? Is that it? I don't know. Shirin J. Zhao, something like that. The author of Heavenly Tyrant, I think, is her recent book, right? And like, cause she was up for, cause she has her book, it's polyamory, and it's a love triangle, but a proper love triangle, right? Where the guy likes the girl, but the girl likes the guy, and the guy likes the guy, but that guy likes the girl, right? Like, and they're like, let's just all date. And it's if China's first female, I haven't read it, but I follow her and see all her videos. It's if China's first female emperor uh had mechas, basically. And with a true love triangle, polyamory style. And so that's what the book is, right? Which sounds like a beautiful chaotic mess, I know. And she's Chinese. And of course she's writing about Chinese topics, and now she was nominated for a whatchamacallit, why am I blanking on the name of the award? The big award for sci-fi fantasy. Oh, a Hugo. Oh my gosh, a Hugo Award. She was nominated for a Hugo Award. However, she was all of a sudden off the ballot for the nominations once the Hugo Awards were taking place in China. And she and someone else who had, I think, LGBTQ representation in their book were also, for some reason, mysteriously no longer on the ballot when it came time for the award, right? And they denied it, and they were like, oh, it has nothing to do with Chinese censorship, blah blah blah, until it leaked that yes, in fact it did. The like organization, right, that runs the Hugos, in order to be able to hold their awards in China, needed to take them off of the nominations. So yeah, it was like, and I think it was in particular not just LGBTQ stuff, but LGBTQ stuff with the blend of Chinese culture was what they were really upset by. And then yeah, and for the author of Heaven Official's Blessing, like again, no one's really seen her do much for a few years. And although they like making the show and manga of her novels and stuff, but a lot of that apparently is done through Taiwan, not through China. And I think her books that she did publish, she published, and I saw people say she self-published, and other people said she published it through a Taiwanese publisher instead, and China can't control what Taiwan publishes, probably much to China's dismay. So, just for all the people who are using Red Note and being like, wow, now I'm learning all about what China's actually like, and not seeing it through American propaganda, is, you need to remember that the Chinese propaganda is a thing. You can't like just ignore it and pretend that it's not. It is a thing. And it's like, not as, I mean, obviously not everything's going to be as bad as the worst, you know, propaganda, you know, anti-Chinese propaganda you'll hear, but it's not what the Chinese government says it is. Let's just say. So, but you know, all the people going on to Red Note and learning about China and how bad America is, and it's like, guys, it's and especially it's really frustrating when it comes to things like the censorship, especially of LGBTQ censorship, which does exist in China. It does in uh clear examples, and in and in the genocide of the Uyghurs as well, which is also something that happens. Um, Not to mention the uh, discrimination that does occur against the cultural minorities. China has over 600 ethnic groups, right? Like, but the majority of China is all one. I think it's Han ethnic group, right? And the others are varying degrees of minorities, and there is some discrimination against them, just like the ethnic minorities in Japan as well. A lot of people, like, people just, they just, I mean, I'm not even an expert on it, but I know that much, you know, and so I don't want to speak on it too much, but it is something to look into and be aware of, at least on a surface level, so that you don't write it off if people like say stuff about it and you're like, nah, that's impossible. Like, it is an issue in these places. Not even just xenophobia, like people talk about Japan and stuff, like not liking foreigners or whatever, but even within Japan, there is racism between their different ethnic groups, and it's, you know, something to be aware of rather than just ignore it and sweep it under the rug and pretend like it doesn't exist, you know. um but yeah, but anyway, so I won't be using Red Note because I don't like people happily erasing the uh unjust things that China is doing and claiming it's all just American propaganda when it's not, because there are international parties that are asserting these claims. And it's not, I never hear anything, honestly, from America about China. It's always international stuff. I actually don't even know what American Chinese propaganda is because I don't hear any of it. I just hear international things. You know, from people in specific fandoms. And usually it's, you know, a lot of people from Asian countries who are big into the fandoms being like, what's going on with this thing? Um, or, uh, or again, like international, you know, unaffiliated humanitarian organizations and things like that. So, China has a lot of really great things, but it also has a lot of not great things. So, you know, just like a lot of countries, and but you can't ignore the bad stuff. So, and also Red Note's not going to last long. Um, if people move there, so I don't know what the deal is. Um, and they also do have a lot of restrictions. Like, you know, uh, like you can't do, like they're very strict about sexual content and things like that. I know. Um, and yeah, so you know, like a lot of people won't. Uh, I don't think they realize that it's not as open as they think it is. You know. Um, they're not going to even understand. Like if they get banned, they probably won't even understand why they got banned because they don't speak Mandarin. So ask about Tiananmen Square comment. Yeah. It's, yeah, and like a lot of, like I've heard people mention that too, but I think they were doing it in sort of hyperbolic joke fashion about the stuff people are saying. But like I've seen people actually like talking about the Uyghurs and the LGBTQ stuff. That I've seen, and that's stuff that, you know, I those are the things that I am confident are issues with China, right? Like there's a lot of claims and things that I don't know personally about, but like I assume the Winnie the Pooh thing is still true, right? which to me is always like I think of that every single time I watch anytime you watch Yuzuru Hanyu skate, right? I know he's a Japanese figure skater, right? But his like little thing is Winnie the Pooh, right? A lot of the figure skaters have like a thing that's like, you know, like or their little mascot kind of, right? And a lot of times their little like tissue box has like a little thing, and so like Yuzuru's tissue box is like a Winnie the Pooh, and he loves Winnie the Pooh, and like he'll skate and then like all the Winnie the Poohs get thrown on the ice. It's crazy. It's like a Winnie the Pooh zoo down there. And like he goes and like he has like crates of Winnie the Poohs to take back with him after like major competitions and stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy. But it always reminds me of like, this is in Japan. Users collecting all the Winnie the Poohs, but imagine in China, not too far away, that would be banned. And it's just like, and from what I could tell, like it actually is banned there. Yeah, Winnie the Pooh is cool. Like, you just gotta look up Yuzuru and Winnie the Pooh and just see the ice covered in Winnie the Poohs. It's so amazing. And like he's so cute, and Yuzuru's adorable, and Winnie the Pooh fits him so well because like, you know, it's very banned as you understand it. Okay, yeah. Like, because it just seems crazy, you know, to be like, is it really? Because it sounds like something that could be, you know, not propaganda, but, you know, rumor that gets blown out and presented as news, right? But you know, it's, yeah, from what I can tell it is, and it just goes to show you as one example of a thing that is banned for a stupid reason, right? And a completely unreasonable reason, and shows you the control the government has in places where they shouldn't, right? And just kind of a reminder of one thing in particular. It's hard to kind of find, you know, what else is banned or what else they're lacking, because they don't know that they don't have it, you know, for a lot of things. And you know, and we don't know that they don't have it, and because you don't think to ask or check, or, you know, you just don't notice what people have and what they don't have sometimes. So, you know, it's just kind of like a reminder that there is possibly a lot, or maybe a few, but just important things that are banned in China. And like, and it's a principle of the thing, right? It's a principle that the government can ban stuff like that has no good reason to be banned. You know, we're criticizing our own government for banning TikTok because its parent company is Chinese and reports data to China, right? But because like ByteDance is Chinese, reports data to China. However, TikTok does not mandatorily report all of its data to ByteDance, as I understand it. So the data isn't going to China because it's not all going to ByteDance. But it's stored like separately. And I think that was an issue originally, but then they separated it out into like a separate company. So the data doesn't get transferred there. But they're like, I still don't trust that you don't give the data to ByteDance, because just because you don't have to doesn't mean you don't. And they're like, I don't trust it. And so that's why our government is banning TikTok. But like in China though, like if they're banning all this other stuff, like that's even crazier. You look up the skater and you saw for the amount of Winnie the Poohs on the ice as well. Yes, right? I said I've seen him like interviews with him right after competitions, and like he just has crates of Winnie the Poohs to take home with him. I don't know what he has. I don't know where he puts them all. I think a lot of them he donates, which is really sweet. But yeah, it's crazy. One of the best figure skaters ever, by the way. Yuzuru is like top notch. And even his story too, just to kind of shout out, during the earthquake in Japan, like he was on the ice practicing during the earthquake when it happened. And hearing his story about that is kind of crazy. Such a good skater. And like he's retired, I think, from most professional competition now, but he still does a lot of shows and stuff. And so shout out to him. Really good. But and I think Yuri on Ice is based off of him, I think, as like the kind of Yuri's character, I think. I think is based around Yuzu. Not like, you know, the exact character, but in terms of like, I think skating, just the inspiration, I guess, I suppose, to a certain extent. In the same way, like Yurio's character was based on Lipnitskaya, was that her name? Um, a Russian figure skater, but a girl. And yeah, so but that was especially skating style in particular for that. But a lot of the skaters in Yuri on Ice were based on actual skaters, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it just kind of, you know, I don't know, it just goes to show that if China's banning Winnie the Pooh, like what else are they banning? Like we're upset at our government for banning TikTok for not the best reason, but you know, like they have an argument there. It's not good, but like it's there. But China will ban stuff for, you know, even worse reasons. So you know, I don't know why to use their TikTok. Used to having a level of conversational freedom and lack of top-down control of public conversation not necessarily exist elsewhere, and those other societies don't expect to. Yeah. Like they just, it's just you get used to living with, you know, a different life, and then you don't realize, you know, because it might not even affect your daily life. Like, would my life change if I don't see Winnie the Pooh anywhere? No. I don't think I would notice. But you know, and like it could be other things, you know, and even just small things. It might be important things, but you know, it's easy to kind of not realize what you don't have. And that's kind of the same for a lot of other things about the United States that we don't have that other countries have, and we just don't realize it. It's really easy not to know what the experiences of other countries are. But what I do know from international sources about stuff in China is I do not respect their control over their media and their culture that the government does exert over their people. And like, and it's uncomfortable seeing people even jokingly talk about using Red Note and learning about that the Uyghur genocide is made up. Like, that's not even funny to joke about. Like, even if they're not serious, then they still shouldn't be making those jokes. It's not funny. And you know, I don't know. I don't like the tone of all of that. But you know, who knows? Maybe TikTok won't even be banned. Who knows? Who knows? Or it will, and it'll come back and like, and I don't know. If you remember, TikTok wasn't even originally TikTok. It was originally Musical.ly, right? So you know, I mean, who really knows? Who really knows? And a lot of people are like, well, what are we gonna do without TikTok? Oh, I didn't see the full clip. I just was reading the captions of it, so it's possible it's wrong. But I don't wanna call out major people, but a pretty major streamer said that like if you want to grow on YouTube or on Twitch as a streamer, like there's no hope of doing that now that TikTok's gone, which I think is very silly because I wasn't getting most of my growth from TikTok anyway. Honestly, I feel like most people show up from YouTube. YouTube Shorts has been doing way better than TikTok has been lately, and the experience of TikTok has not been very fun. The algorithm isn't good. It leans way too much into feeding you things you dislike, and you know, you love to visit China, but you'd be uncomfortable if you ever did, or you'd talk about something for a bit and without realizing it. You're conversationally political, which may be a problem. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that might be a problem. As long as you stay on safe topics, it's fine. But if you go off on little more controversial things, yeah, that could get you a problem. Yeah, like I said, Western China in particular is like one of the places I would most like to visit in the world, right? Like I said, from like my travel shows growing up, Western China was, and I don't exactly know where because they went to a bunch of different locations. But it's so beautiful and so pretty, and I would love to go there. But and I mean, it'd probably be fine. Like I'm not really like China's not a place I'd be scared to go. Like I'd love to go to Egypt, but I'd be scared to go to Egypt. I'd love to go to Morocco, but I'd be scared to go to Morocco by myself. But I don't think I'd be scared to go to China. But I know it would be feasibly difficult, especially Western China, because I don't speak Chinese. So visit some of those mountain ranges. It looked like something out of an anime. Yeah, the old temples and everything. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and the worst thing is, like, well, I guess it depends on how far out you go, because like they're not even all like, obviously Mandarin and Cantonese are the two major dialects, but there are others. And the more rural you get, the more likely you are to encounter other dialects other than Mandarin and Cantonese. And it's already hard enough to learn those. Like, imagine learning those and then going out to some like mountain temple in the West, and then and you're like, what? You don't speak these? And they're like, blah 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 blah, whatever their language is. Yeah, you just yeah. Sometimes you're just hesitant, right? Because there's just like a level of safety and comfort. Yeah, there's a level of comfort in a lot of places. Friends, family you'd want to go with would be you're worried about them too much to make the trip fun. I see. Yeah. Yeah, it kind of depends. Like there are just some places that are just easier to visit, like they're just easier to visit. Like there's a lot of places I'd like to go because I like ancient things, right? And there are a lot of ancient things in a lot of really not great areas, whether it be for political reasons, like a lot of the Middle East, love to go there, but also would not. Or like Central America, same thing. Not for political reasons, although that is an issue in a lot of those places, but also health reasons. Like there's a lot of dangerous things, dangerous bugs. They don't have great health resources there. And it's just not worth it. It's just not worth the danger. Keyhole shaped tombs of Korea. Ooh, yeah. They're in North Korea. Yeah. It'd be cool to go to so many places, but they're just not accessible, But I mean, maybe one day. You never know. Things happen. Things change really fast sometimes in politics. So maybe one day. You just kind of have to keep hoping. But yeah. But anyway. Oh, and I remember one of the other pieces of drama. Like I said, people are fiending for drama. One of the others was the thing with Thor and OnlyFans, right? I haven't seen drama like that in a long time. As far as on it, I mean, you love to see Mecha visit the Kaaba. Yeah. It can be frustrating sometimes when like you want to see some cool things and appreciate things, but you're not, they're not yours. They're not your things, and it's like, but I want to see. I want to see and appreciate it too. But yeah, it seems lately though, like, and so like, everyone's jumping to Red Note. Meanwhile, everything else is just different dramas. Like, what is it? Oh, today's drama is the like Twitch Rivals drama, and then I think the Thor and OnlyFans drama has died down now. I think that was yesterday's drama. Yeah. It wouldn't help. I mean, it's not about intent. It's about impact, right? But yeah, and what other drama is there that's going on? I think there's some other drama that's kind of stirring. Things look on the internet out there, things are a little tense. And I'm very interested to see all these people. Again, it feels like people are audiences in particular, right? Not creators, audiences are they're hungry for a drama. In general, it looks like in general. And I'm very interested to see how that goes. If TikTok goes, how will that affect the like fandom landscapes, if you will, of different communities, right? Like, how will that affect things? Because I would say a lot of the drama I'm seeing is unrelated to TikTok, right? Unspread on TikTok. It seems to come from Twitter and the like YouTube and Twitch sources of the drama. TikToks, and that's why when people are like, oh, what'll happen if TikTok goes? You can't grow as a creator without TikTok. But honestly, TikTok has had a diminishing effect on the other platforms. And also, just to comment on that, on the one hand, I feel bad for creators who make their living off of TikTok. On the other hand, I don't want to say that I don't, but people have been warning them this for years. TikTok has never been a stable site for a stable audience, right? It is for growing your audience and moving them to other platforms. You never should have had a TikTok only platform. That was never going to be sustainable because of the way TikTok is run and the way the TikTok algorithm works. You do not build an audience on TikTok. You gain discoverability and then you build your audience elsewhere. That's what TikTok has always been about. It has never been capable of building an audience. Not really. Because even if like you're like, oh, but I have, people who keep coming back again and again and seeing my videos, that's great. You have a consistent viewer base, I suppose, but you don't have a community. I guess that's the thing, right? It builds an audience, but doesn't build a community. They don't get to know you and your short little clips, right? They might be intrigued, might be interested, and then they go see you other places. But oh no, you burned yourself. No, don't burn yourself. Hopefully you're okay. I'm just talking about TikTok now, and kind of that people who are worried about its effect, losing its effect. Yeah, it's not long term, just build and transition to other things. Yeah, exactly. It's what it's always been. And I mean, it can be long term and that you can keep using it, but the goal is always to just use it as a feeder for other platforms. Because like here on Twitch, like you guys get to know me pretty well. I talk a lot. I have a lot of time to share myself with you. We have a lot of time together to build a community, to create community norms, community expectations, right? Of the whole vibe. And same thing on YouTube, right? Even if it's not live, through consistent videos, you can do the same thing. But on TikTok, if you're just TikTok, you can't do that. You actually really can't do that very well on Instagram either. Twitter, you can. Instagram, no one posts often enough for that. But Twitter, you can like spam things on Twitter, and kind of build an audience that way too. But Instagram is kind of useful for, I guess, being a more select amount of things. I guess Instagram stories though are different. If you watch stories, I'm trying to watch stories more. If you watch stories, then it's pretty useful. But yeah, actually didn't brush a hot pan while making bacon. Well, at least made bacon. That sounds really good. Yeah. But yeah, but like I guess Instagram, like I said, Instagram stories is different, I suppose, because that's still like a pretty consistent putting out content pretty consistently for people who really, I don't really use stories because I don't have enough images to share that frequently. And I mostly just have words to share, so thus I share them on Twitter. But stories is like Twitter for people with pictures. And Twitter is like Instagram stories for word people rather than picture people, I guess. And then, YouTube is, of course, video sharing, Twitch live streaming. They both excel in those categories. And TikTok excelled in the short form content that, gains attraction. But Instagram and YouTube have implemented them pretty well as well. And especially recently, it really feels like those, well, I can't say that Instagram, I don't know how to do Instagram. I don't know how to do Instagram, man. I make posts and like it gets like 3 views, like literally 3 views, only people who follow me. Like, how do people see things? All followers, 3 views. It's like, great. We're just... And then you make a post. That's just like for image posts though, right? You make like a put up a reel, right? And like more people will see it, and like, but the amount of followers you get from it and the amount of likes you get on it, it's so little. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I haven't like figured out how to work the algorithm yet, or maybe TikTok hasn't figured out an algorithm to put me in. Like, I don't know, but it's kind of weird. And or Instagram also has a thing where it like doesn't like you to post too often. So like they don't want you to post like every day. So it's kind of weird. It's you gotta, I don't know, or they don't, at least it used to be a thing where they don't want to use the same hashtags multiple days in a row or something like that because they don't want you like spamming a particular tag or something. I don't know. I don't fully understand Instagram very well. I don't really understand it, and I don't even understand TikTok very well either anymore. Like just looking back at my old account, like I had so many more, like even before, like because originally eventually I had like over 10,000, in the teens, thousands of followers on my previous TikTok. And yeah, the algorithm can be frustrating. If you really care about it, yeah, it can be frustrating. I like kind of playing the game of it, to be honest, but not when I can't even get a single foothold in, right? Like I don't even know how to, how to get anyone to see my stuff. Not how to get more people. It's different when you're like, how do I get more people to see my stuff? How do I get more people to like my stuff? But instead I'm like, how do I get literally anyone to see this? And I'm stuck at like 98 followers, which in the past, Instagram has done a thing. Talking about Instagram now as opposed to TikTok, sorry. TikTok again, my TikTok though, to kind of go back to that, I guess, real quick. Like my old TikTok, even looking back at my original posts, because like I wanted to download all my posts just in case, TikTok goes away. And even look at other accounts private and everything. But like I went back and looked at those posts, and like they still had like, I don't know how many views, thousands of views, like 200 likes. Like some of my original posts, like from like the first like, 10 posts TikToks I posted had like hundreds of likes and stuff, and like, and even my first ones had like 70. Like it's just like back in the day, like 4 or 5 years ago, it was so much easier to get views and likes, and then it is so much harder. And it's not the issue isn't a competition thing, right? It's about the algorithm giving your post to the right people, really. Never tried to be a content creator. Sounds like a frustrating job. Sort of work you do tends to have metrics that get published and you know them. You don't have to guess. Yeah. The algorithms you always kind of have to guess. But sometimes they are better. YouTube tends to be more transparent about their algorithms than TikTok. TikTok was always very secretive about its algorithm. And originally I thought its algorithm was really good. But in the past couple years it's gotten a lot worse. The guessing game, yeah, is really frustrating, but they don't want people to abuse the algorithm is the thing. Because people will try to do that. They'll make content geared towards hitting specific metrics that are algorithm favorable rather than making good content. And they'll focus on that, and then you have the ability to kind of hijack the algorithm rather than doing it organically. Which is, it's, I don't know if it's really that easy to do though. Someone's going to optimize it for the exclusion of all else. Yeah, well, TikTok changes its algorithm a lot, so it's really hard to like for anyone to really get a solid hold on it. People kind of just sort of get lucky while the algorithm is a particular thing, and then they kind of lose out over a while. And it's hard to know even what, because the only people posting about like the algorithm are the people who, only have followers because they're like, this is what you need to do to get famous on TikTok in 2025, right? And they're like, see, look at all the views I got. And it's like, you got views by promising people views. Like, you can never believe those people. So it is kind of hard to, one thing I did learn about TikTok that I think is true is it has a location-based algorithm where it does tend to put out content to people who are geographically closer to you. So I tried before though to or it like favors that. But I don't know if that's the case recently, because that I don't know. It's really interesting seeing the locations of my viewers, because like it'll put things in kind of random spots, and I'm like, why are you putting it all to like this random city? Right? I'm like, what's up with that? And like some of them will be kind of close by, but others won't be. And I'm like, why like you showing it to a bunch of people in Houston? What's up with Houston, man? I'm in LA. So, it's kind of, I don't know. I haven't quite figured it out recently, but it used to be geographically based. Um, and and that's why people who would have a tendency to see your stuff. Recently though, it was kind of concerning because it's showing me like people right? And I don't know if it's doing that on my VTuber account because I haven't checked, but on my older account that is privated and doesn't have any, information on it anymore. But in the people it has like people I know, but from a different email address. I'm like, wow, you used an email address that is not associated with this account to populate my people I might know list. That's insane. Like, you should not be able to do that. You should not be able to do that. It's not always geographic. You're on the far side country. Yeah. That's true. That's true. It's not always. It isn't always. And I don't know if it's the case anymore. I used to try to use a VPN to funnel through a different location. Because like I didn't want my coworkers and stuff finding it. But then TikTok does not, like, you actually can't use a VPN on TikTok. It won't work. The TikTok just bypasses the VPN, which is insane. Like, I tried it, like, it doesn't fully work with a VPN. Like, some aspects will be affected, but the localization aspect of it, where it tries to find exactly where you're posting from, like, it knows where you're posting from. You cannot hide that, which is insane. But yeah, that is, yeah, it is a little invasion of privacy. Another thing I realized was I went to Whole Foods, right, and I bought stuff with my credit card, and then I go back to my Amazon account, and they're like, oh, these are things you recently purchased in your past orders. And I'm like, what do you mean they're in my past orders? I didn't order these through Amazon. And Amazon's like, oh, well, you use your credit card at Whole Foods, and your credit card you also use it on Amazon. So we combined the things together. And it's like, Amazon, no, that's different. VPN is a nice thing concept, but when there's tracking cookies in your computer and every ad company building person looks at XYZ profiles with data sharing, how effective? Yeah. Well, it's meant to kind of ideally a good VPN protects against those tracking information, or it tracks the wrong data. Like, it should like give the wrong data. Like, it should tell like I'm in Florida or something like that. And all the cookies and all the profile should have that incorrect data. And that's if you choose, right? But like a good VPN would choose various locations rather than one fixed location consistently. So it should confuse all the data in theory. But again, a lot of people are getting really good at bypassing VPNs. So corporate data sharing, yeah. Yep. And for the most part, it's usually not a big deal. Like it's mostly affects the ads you get, really, is one of the biggest things. Which, depends on how susceptible you are to advertisement and suggestion. Like, if you're trying to be like, my goal this year is to cut back on fast food, I want to eat healthy, but they're gonna be giving you a bunch of ads that are going to, and they know exactly what type of ads will tempt you, and because they have data on that, and they can break down that resolve, I guess. But which can be a problem for people who are fighting like addictions and stuff. I know could also be an issue, maybe. It can, there and political things as well can have some effect, and but and a lot of times there are different things that they can get you on that are rabbit holes to different, especially like political things. But it's all very complicated. The marketing thing is like wild. The psychology behind stuff is crazy. But yeah, so I haven't, especially with TikTok, I realized they're using a separate email address that I don't have signed up with that, and I was like, wow, you're using an entirely different account's contact information for this. That's crazy. So now I'm like gleefully getting my stuff off of TikTok. I'm downloading all my favorite TikToks. I already downloaded my own TikToks I put up. Not all of them on my vtuber account actually, but I'm working on that this weekend, and I'm downloading all of my liked videos, and like I said, then I'm gonna react to them, and I'll have like a nice really long stream reacting to all my liked videos, all the videos that I've liked on TikTok. But yeah, I'm kind of ready for TikTok to go, because it's like I said, I have not been enjoying it. The algorithm is very chaotic in terms of how it functions. It's not very consistent, and I rarely get recurring viewers, which is fine, but like you want to get them enough until they move over to you know, the other platforms and stuff. And it just isn't I don't know, what I'm getting, like my algorithm for viewing hasn't been good, because it really focuses on stuff that you don't like more than things you do, and it's really hard to control that. You're getting political and religious targeted ads. Yeah, exactly. It's the stuff that keeps you angry. Nope. See, but they as far as they know, it's not a mistake. It's not a mistake, because it makes you angry and it gets your attention, and that's all they want. All they want is your attention. And so like, for TikTok, I think if you go in and you click like I don't like this, it actually still promotes it in your content because you've watched the video longer, because you had to go in and click on I don't like this. It's faster if you just scroll away. And then the fact that you actually did hit more engagement, right? Because you opened up the share menu to click I don't like this content. So it actually still gets viewed favorably, and they're like, ooh, at least it got a reaction out of them. You know, and they know then, and so they're not going to not show you that content. They're going to show you more of that content. The only thing that'll stop it is if you block it, right? That's the only way to stop it, is block things you don't like. Because otherwise, anything else you do, even just watching it, will look like positive. Oh, Ori and the Blind Forest music. Oh, yay. Hold on. Such a sad song. But yeah, it makes a frustrating amount of sense. You want to write angry emails, yeah. I mean, they don't care. They know what they're doing. Which is why, and I don't know to what degree YouTube does it, but that's why when people dislike videos, because a lot of my shorts on YouTube, like my channel average on YouTube is 95% for likes, because the shorts bring it down, because a lot of my shorts get like, I don't know, like a quarter or a third dislikes sometimes. And I'm like, why are you people disliking stuff? Because based on every other social media platform that has had dislikes available, a dislike still counts as engagement. And people are like, well, I want to train the algorithm to not show me this. And I'm like, I think the best way to train the algorithm, at least the most trustworthy way to train the algorithm, is don't view it. Because like, if people don't like my video, or if you don't like a video just in general, scroll off of it immediately. Because if you do swipe past really quickly, it, even in the shorts menu, it does not count as a view, right? Like, because my short will be put out to like 2,000 people, right, from the shorts page, but I still won't get 2,000 views, which on TikTok you would, right? Every second view counts as a view. Even if you immediately swipe away, if the video was in front of you, it counts as a view, but YouTube does not count it as a view, because you'll get 2,000 impressions, but only like 200 views. And so you're like, that's weird, but that's because it doesn't count it as a view until a certain amount in, and I don't know like how far in. So you have to like just swipe away relatively. Like if you know, if it's like, oh, VTuber girl, I don't want to watch a VTuber girl, so swipe away as soon as you see VTuber girl. Or you're like, oh, this is a Twitch clip, I don't want to see Twitch clips. Swipe away sooner. That's what you need to do. Don't put a dislike, just swipe away faster, because the dislike is gonna like ruin things. It's gonna throw things off, because they're gonna be like, but at least they engaged. And they're hoping that maybe they can like rage bait or something. So just don't engage. don't engage. And if there's a content creator you know that you're not going to like, just block them. Though I would be hesitant to block because sometimes it kind of downgrades the quality of a channel. At least I know that used to happen on other platforms before, is if people blocked you, it would kind of flag you as like potentially problematic person. And kind of like hinder your performance, the output, and the spread of your content. I think Twitter used to do that. Blocking should matter from a marketing standpoint. Blocking is sort of engagement, maybe not as valuable. Yeah, well, blocking it doesn't really matter because if you block, then like you still can't see, right? But it does. But dislikes though count as engagement. But blocking, they still won't show you this stuff, so that's like how you can guarantee not to see it. But it does potentially hurt that creator. So like if someone's like, oh, I don't want to see sales content because I just don't like VTubers, like that's fine. But like if they block me, then it'll potentially mean that instead of my short going out to 2,000 people, next time it'll only go out to like 800 because they're like, she's getting a lot of blocks. She's not a good creator. And you know, it's kind of like a kind of flag essentially. Like docs points from the creator and the creator's value, kind of. At least that's the way it used to be on some platforms, but it would make sense to still have it like that now. But it's hard to know for sure, because again, they publish some things about algorithms, but they don't publish everything. Like YouTube it has always been a little bit ambiguous about watch time versus views, right? And versus average view duration, right? Because like I might have a video that goes up that gets like 50 views, but the watch time, maybe only 2 people of those views actually watch the video all the way through. So that's still good because mine forms, you know, pretty long form content with the VODs. So like let's say it's a 3-hour VOD, I put it up, 2 people watch it, so there's 6 hours of watch time, but 50 views, right? But then the average view duration is pretty low. It's gonna be like, I don't know, like 10 minutes or something, right? Because there's only, you know, 6 hours is split among 50 different views. So, you know, the 10 minutes is still pretty good compared to other videos. So like it still potentially be shown out to other people and stuff. But it's, you know, it's not 50, you know, it's not like the number 50 didn't really do a whole lot. Like it could have, it's possible that it might have been better to have, you know, only 10 people watch the video, because then my watch time would be the same, and as long as those 2 people who watched it were still there, my watch time would be the same, but my average view duration would go up, right? So it's kind of unclear what is better and how they weigh all of those different things, right? How they weigh the number of views compared to the total watch time compared to the average view duration. Because like, does a high average view duration, is that still good if you have a very low number of views, right? Like, so, you know, it's always a lot. That's what I kind of like about social media, right? I like looking at the numbers and kind of thinking about all of that stuff and like looking at the analytics of things, and like trying to figure out, you know, how the content is being handled and everything. I kind of like it. But one thing I do know is that it's never always exactly as people are saying the algorithm handles things. It's never quite what they say at any given time. And it's, you know, hard to get a hang of. But what I do know is that TikTok was never meant to be a sole platform. And again, I'm sorry for creators that made their living off of TikTok, but everyone has always told them that they should not. So this isn't coming out of nowhere. The TikTok ban has been threatening for years. They have had years of scares to build other places, to create traffic flows to other places, and to adapt their content to something that is better to begin with, like it always should have been, because that was never a good business model to have. And I feel sad if they haven't done that, but at the same time, like they've had every chance. So, but for people saying that you can't grow on YouTube or Twitch anymore because TikTok's going, like, I'm glad that they grew from TikTok, but that wasn't, I don't think that's where I see Instagram coming back into play. Instagram's not out of the running, and that's why I'm kind of starting to move back there, because like I can see that picking up. I think Instagram is going to be on the upswing, and of course YouTube I think is going to be the YouTube Shorts are going to be a great move. YouTube Shorts are already in a really good spot as it is. It feels like, from like a creator perspective, and even from a viewer perspective. I don't actively watch shorts, but I can see that, like, they're there, like they're visible to me, and I usually just don't watch them because I've already seen them on Instagram or TikTok for creators I like, so I don't really watch them on YouTube because I've already seen them. But the placement of them in the app and on the website, their integration into the website is potentially okay. The algorithm seems okay. I've seen most of my growth come from YouTube Shorts, and not absolutely none from TikTok, or not TikTok, sorry, none from Instagram. Moderate amount from TikTok, but a better amount from Shorts. Plus, because people who follow me from Shorts, they subscribe to my YouTube and then move over to Twitch, right? Or if they don't move over to Twitch, they at least subscribe to my YouTube, which also gets them in the view of the VODs, as opposed to if they follow my TikTok and they don't jump over to Twitch, they're not getting any other content but the short content. They're not getting VODs as well, right? But if they follow from the shorts, they also follow from the VODs, right? It's like a 2-in-1. It's a 2-in-1 over on YouTube. So sad for the people who did make it the whole livelihood. Irresponsible, but you feel bad. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like, I don't know. I feel bad, but, you know, not too bad, really. Because, again, they've had plenty of opportunities. So it's just like, it's just a mistake that they made, and it's a shame that they made that mistake, but, because people, I think it's because they all overhyped TikTok. They saw it as something, and like even people, like I saw someone say like, they were responding to a post where it was like, oh, now everyone's going to read books now that TikTok is going to be banned, and people are like, what do you mean? TikTok saved bookstores. BookTok saved bookstores? Really? BookTok recommends the same subset of books, which are spicy fantasy romance books. 90% of the BookTok content is spicy fantasy romance. There are way more books in bookstores than that. It has encouraged the publication of books that I honestly don't think are that great. They are, I mean, they're, I don't want to say werewolf bodice rippers. Very bodice rippers, but yeah. Yeah, around that. TikTok was pretty overhyped. Yeah, again, it was very good at discoverability, and that's basically it. and like, again, for like, oh, but communication, Gen Z rallied. It was not as good for communication as Twitter was before Elon ruined it. But, which again could still be replicated, which is why I have a positive view of Blue Sky, because Blue Sky is still created by Jack Dorsey, who created the good version of TikTok, or the good version of Twitter to begin with. So who's to say Jack can't recreate that in Blue Sky? But it does need more traction, which is why more people need to go to Blue Sky, because it has the ability to be what Twitter used to be, which Twitter currently isn't ever going to do that with Elon in charge. But, you know, or like finding, they're like, oh, well, if I go to Tumblr, like Tumblr isn't what any of these others are doing. Tumblr was its own thing. It's a blogging platform. Instagram doesn't do what Twitter does, you know, like, but the point is, TikTok didn't do what Twitter does, and Twitter was best at news and information dissemination, was what Twitter was really good at. And I mean, it was good at a lot of other things, but that was what was revolutionary about Twitter, was the information dissemination. Was really good, and really kind of a shame that that's not the case anymore. But and I don't know if Blue Sky ever will be like that either, actually, maybe, because if you look at it, they don't really have the same trending like page and stuff the way Twitter did, and that was really important for getting information spread and stuff. But yeah, but for TikTok, like especially with the books and stuff, people like, oh yeah, but say bookstores. No, it didn't. It didn't say bookstores. That's a huge leap. It's just that people are like, well, I didn't start reading until Book Talk. And it's like, yeah, but there were many other people who still read books. You just don't know that. And even then, a lot of people also don't realize that TikTok, like, it'll be really interesting when I show you guys my, like, all my liked videos on TikTok, because it's probably very, very different from what you guys did on TikTok, right? Like, it's very, because it, feeds you exactly what you want to see, and, or don't want to see, if it's rage bait stuff, and you get in these, like, hyper niches, right, of different things, and these little bubbles, and people don't realize how big of a bubble they are, and it kind of isolates their entire worldview. And all social media kind of does this, but TikTok, because of this, how successful the algorithm was, it meant that it targeted things really well to what you liked. And it meant then that you weren't seeing a wide variety of things. You were seeing very specific niche things, which was good and felt good, but it's not good, like, in terms of understanding what all of TikTok is or what all the world is, right? It's really just about your own little bubble. But people don't quite realize that. And so they'll be like, well, everyone I talked to on TikTok was really influenced by Book Talk. And it's like, yeah, because you're in the bubble of people who are that. It's like you're the, like, people who started reading because of TikTok Club. And you're like, yeah, but everyone in the people who started reading because of TikTok Club started reading because of TikTok. And it's like, yeah, no, fake. That's the name of the club. Duh. Stupid. And, like, it's just kind of, but I don't know, yeah. Or in a bizarre foam made of info bubbles. But, like, and like, you can break out of your bubbles. TikTok was just, like, very, very bubble. It was very bubble, very bubble. And that's what I kind of want to, maybe, I wonder, I'll leave before Sunday. Maybe I'll post it tomorrow. I wanted to ask, and I guess there's no point in putting this on Instagram because it's not gonna go anywhere. But I really wanted to know, like, and I know, like, I could ask you guys, but, like, you're obviously a very small part of, like, my overall audience. Small but mighty. But, like, I have, like, 250, which is still a small audience. I know, I'm aware. 250 followers. Well, not, but my followers aren't going to see it. That's the interesting thing. If I post it on TikTok, my followers won't see it. A bunch of other people will, or very few of my followers will see it, right? Most of the people who see a TikTok will not be people who follow me, which is fascinating. And even most of my YouTube watch time comes from people who are not subscribed. And like, I think 10% of my watch time on YouTube comes from people who are subscribed. But that's just, like, the longer form videos. The shorts, I don't really know. I don't pay attention. It's hard. I don't care about watch time for shorts, and I don't know. Most of the shorts are going to be new viewers, because a lot of shorts get, like, 300 views or so, 300, 500 views, and I don't have that many subscribers, so a lot of it's going to be people who, aren't subscribed. But or YouTube also gives you the metric of new and returning viewers, though, which is also good and helpful, because people might not be subscribed, but they still might be a returning viewer. And that's, is different than someone who is brand new, at least. But I wanted to ask, for other, because, like, I always look at my suggested videos. Well, on YouTube they give you, like, you're in the, like, analytics, right? In the, I don't know how many people here use YouTube and, like, posts and stuff. But in the analytics, they have a whole section that's about your reach. Actually, and online they use a lot. I just use YouTube Studio on mobile for the most part. But because I don't have, they give you a lot more information on the browser website for it, but I don't have enough views to get a lot of that information. So because like it's they need a wider data pool to give that information. But for the some things you get enough from like a little bit. And so one of the information they give you is like for like a significant portion of my views come from suggested videos, right? So like when you're on YouTube and like there's, you have your video up and then on the side there's a bunch of other videos, right? That like you're like, oh, when you're done watching that, watch this other video, right? And if you scroll down and look at comments and you see a video off to the right, right? Those are the suggested videos. And a lot of my views come from suggested videos. And I always think it's really interesting to see, stats and statistical significance. And I always like to see what, because it tells you what videos suggested. So like if I get, 200 views on, well, let's just make it easy, 100 views on a video, right? And let's say 40% of my views are from suggested videos. So I'll then look, I can look and I can see what percentage, like how many clicks came from what different videos. And so it's really interesting. So I can see the type of content that my audience likes to watch. And and I always kind of keep an eye on it because, like, again, I'm trying to avoid the like 50-year-old MAGA supporters. So I don't really want to get a lot of views from like why Trump should be king or something like that, right? If like that's someone was watching that video and then clicks onto mine, then I'm like, uh-oh. Um, but and YouTube also will then be like, oh, well, other people, everyone's watching this creator, and people who watch this creator will click on Cell's videos. So maybe other people who watch this creator will like Cell's videos, right? But like if people are watching like why Trump should be king and they click on my video, then YouTube will be like, oh, other people who watch why Trump should be king will watch Cell's videos too. They must also like it because they're the same little, interest bubble, right? But so I always kind of keep an eye on like what, and honestly, it's to me a really good sign. Like sometimes I'm like suggested off of like Markiplier, which is always good. I like it when my audience watches Markiplier. I get a lot of ASMR videos. Sometimes weird funny internet videos, other VTubers or VTuber clips. That's always really good. And cuz like VTuber and VTuber clips I know is like a really safe place to be suggested from. And I was wondering like what and see, it might even just be a couple people as a thing, so I kind of wonder, like, I wanted to ask people like if people who watch me or see my content even, right? Because again, it's like the algorithm is recommending me to them based on what they like. And so I kind of am like, I kind of want to know, ask people, if you're seeing my video, do you watch other VTubers and who is it? Because I kind of want to know who the algorithm thinks like my audience matches with, right? Because like I've seen a couple VTubers who are more consistent in I'm being suggested from, which is interesting to me because they're not who I would expect is the thing. And so I'm like, that's kind of interesting. But it might just be a couple people who happen to like me and that other person. But, I'm like, interesting. So I kind of want to see. I'm like, if you see my video, what other VTubers do you watch? Because I'm like, who am I like in a way, right? It's kind of like a little like, which VTuber are you most like? And I am, like I said, I'm kind of surprised by who they suggest. who else watches me or their other favorite VTubers. You're into things to be really weird or understand depending on the circumstances. You're tempted to unload some what else I watch. Yeah. Let me know what else you watch if you want. But like, and I don't want to say like, like I said, what the other VTubers are and stuff, because it's a small enough number that it could be like the same person, who's like watching stuff. And like, I don't want to call them out as being like, whoever this one fan is, but I don't think so, but it could be. And like, I could say the Markiplier thing, because like everyone loves Markiplier, right? So Everyone watches Markiplier videos. That doesn't narrow anything down, but it's just kind of like kind of interesting because and again, it could be the same person or people, and it's probably multiple people is the thing. So based on like the numbers, for some things. So like if it's consistent enough, it feels like it should be multiple people. And I'm like, interesting. It's interesting. Your YouTube is all over the place. Doesn't even know what you're gonna watch next. So my YouTube is pretty consistent. My YouTube knows exactly what I like. Sometimes I forget that I'm not subscribed to people, because it like I don't even always go to my subscriptions page anymore. I just go to like, the home page and it knows exactly what to give me. And I'm like, oh wait, I'm not subscribed to this person. Oh, oops, I keep watching all their videos though. It's like one of those things, Um, but yeah, so I do want to ask, and so maybe before TikTok dies, I'll post a TikTok and be like, hey, what other actually that'll be really interesting because it's been a while since I posted a TikTok, and if it's been like about a week, but at least a week between posts, TikTok will push out your new post to a wider audience. So instead of like 200 people for like the little test group it does to see if it scores well, if your video does well enough engagement wise, it'll throw it out to like 700-800 people to see how good it does engagement wise, just because it wants to recalibrate your audience essentially. So that'd be really interesting to see. But watch a lot of different content, so as a vague idea. One consistent thing is bugs and games. I see. Yeah, well, I guess to be fair, a lot of times I will, if I know I'm like getting a niche interest of mine, I go to some like of my alt accounts and we'll watch things from there because I'll be like, I don't want to throw my algorithm off, right? I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to confuse it. So, because I don't want to see less of the things that I do like on here, just because I'm doing a deep dive in this other topic. So, I'll switch accounts for that a lot. But yeah, um, man, I didn't even end up playing our game tonight. Maybe we'll start and we'll play a game for like half an hour or so. Um, let's see. Let's play the game. Let's play the game. But yeah, I'll post that. I'll post that on TikTok before TikTok goes out, but then also on Instagram and YouTube Shorts as well. Just being like, hey, you see this video, what else do you watch? Especially whether okay, so we're gonna play. But I knew I was going to be chatting at the beginning, so I didn't put it up. But Murders on the Yangtze River. Speaking of China, it's all the menu stuff here. Well, a lot of the news and updates and stuff is in Chinese, but the game has been localized. The agreement that I agreed when I downloaded it was all in Chinese, so who knows what we're signing up for. But it's just like a story-based mystery game, I think. I'd wanted to finish until then before I get into another kind of story-based game, but I also I'm not really in the mood for jumping into it. I want to start something fresh right now. So we'll just have a couple story games going at the same time. So let's pause our music here for right now and switch over to the stuff. Open the game. Okay. Tomoe, Project Melody, a few others. Okay. Chess, woodworking, history stuff. Don't even know where we're at until then. I think we just started. This is really loud. We just started chapter 5. It was like right at the end of Christmas. In game and out of game. Okay. Yeah, okay, that is a little loud. We'll turn it down. But woodworking history are pretty fun to watch. I see. Yeah, that those aren't the VTubers I'm seeing. I've seen it maybe a couple usually Project Melody in terms of like combination with others, like a collective of like these VTubers did something like clip or something like that. But I've seen a little bit of Melody. Um But yeah, those aren't the one. Like I said, there's one I've been seeing a lot recently, and I'm just kind of like, really, that one, really? No offense, like nothing wrong with him. It's a him, but like I just kind of was like not what I expected. But I don't watch them, so like maybe I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Maybe that's the more. Maybe I should just look and see what people are watching, what my viewers are watching, and watch them. Okay, this should work. Yeah, here we go. Well, he's a weirdly sweet nerd most of the time. I see. Yeah, she seems cool. Really, I don't want to say, not that like I don't respect any, like the agency VTubers, but like, the VShojo is like huge respect for VShojo. They just do, I think, a stellar job. Um, but and um, yeah. I think, and Tomoe is the other one. I think I know who that is. Is that how you pronounce his name? I think I saw a really good take from him on Twitter the other day, and I didn't repost it because I don't really like doing the throwing my hat in the ring for VTuber drama, even if it's not drama, even if it's just hot takes. But I really liked. I think it was his take on something the other day. So I don't know. Shout out for that, I guess. Okay. Is it still loud? Let me see. Feels loud. It's a menu though. Maybe it'll be less loud later. New game. Wear headphones for an enhanced game experience. Wow. Oh, okay. Military horse girl reminds you of watching games with old friends as high schoolers. I see.
How many times have you returned to this point?
I don't know.
I have not counted. 3 years.
3 years.
You're here almost every single night. And as time goes by, your memory is beginning to fade. Don't stand in my way. No matter how long I linger here, no matter how deep the truth is hidden within the shadows, I will.
That's a lot of words.
Find it.
Who's that guy? What are we doing? Murders on the Yangtze River.
Then I guess you.
Someone's an enthusiastic nerd. I see. Okay. Yeah, the art style is really cool. It's actually prettier than I thought. I mean, I know I saw stills on Steam, but it's actually, I really like it. Okay, he's the book. Okay. Is my model lagging? Are we good? Okay, we're good. Inked a pact with death. I waited his arrival patiently. Wait, are there... Okay, no, I can't do any settings right now. Right now? Okay. Sorry, is there a separate... The music... Yeah, okay, here we go. I want music down. Sound effects down a little bit, and then voice, so then we can turn the overall volume up. Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. Oh. No. We do 60 here around these parts. We'll keep VSync enabled until things turn south. Okay. Did it save my settings? Okay. Tonight, he finally knocked on my door. Ooh. Is the sound still okay? Oh, yeah, it's a little loud. It's like, bro, I just turned down the music. What are you doing? Hold on, I can't. Oh, no, what has happened? He's fallen down. I have a knife. Where'd the body come from? Hold on. Oh. Unexpected Misfortune, Chapter 1. Ooh. Hold on, I'm not done adjusting my volume. Still a little on the loud side. This guy's turned down. Music volume down even more because they don't understand what I mean when I say volume goes down. She won't open these doors. We're breaking in. Oh, it's such a pretty style. Uncle! Oh no, what in the... How could this possibly be? No, Master Lo! 30 minutes later. Lord, the murderer is sleeping like a baby at the scene of the crime. Are they all, like, why are we getting this, like, sleeping and opening and stuff? Are they speaking a dialect? Are they speaking a dialect? Usually in a Japanese game, this would be representation of them, like, being from, like, the Kansai region or from, like a gang, like being Yakuza or something, or like, you know, rough high schooler or something, right? Like, I don't know what it means here though for a Chinese game. Yeah, Kanto versus Kansai. Yeah, a lot of times they'll do it's like a country or southern accent in the United States if they're trying to indicate Kansai. But and like, you know, normal talk for Kanto. So used to Kanto being the southern, really? Hmm. I don't know. No, I've seen Kansai being southern. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Is this like, maybe this is like, could this be Cantonese? I don't think it would. But like I said, there's a lot of different dialects. Sorry, Kansai. Yeah. Like I said, yeah, Kansai is the southern. Um, I like how they do that in translation. They do that in ancient languages as well. People will translate. And it's really interesting in American. If it's translated into American English, the southern accent will be used. If they're translating into British English, they'll use a Scottish accent instead, as like the lower register accent, which is always interesting. So I don't know what this is representing for China. I don't think it'd be Cantonese. I think it's probably like a rural dialect, I imagine, but we'll have to continue and see. My head is spinning. I can't seem to clear my mind, says Shen Chuping. Shen Chunping. The murderer? Could he be talking about me? I mean, maybe. I don't know. You were laying next to the stabbed guy with a knife in your hand. Hi there, buddy. Tap the left and right arrow keys or A and D to control movement. Okay. I can't move. I seem to be tied up. Stay still and quit moving, you murderer. Yes, sir. No, it was not me. I am just a detective. Oh, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for subscribing, Barden. Welcome to being subscribed. Should have done things before the ad. Oh no. Well, I don't think you missed much. No, it was not me. I am just a detective. I came here to... I know you're lying. How dare you kill Master Lo? He's clearly just a detective. Don't you see the little glasses? Calm down, Master Ma, or Officer Ma. Allow him to finish. We need to verify his true identity. That's a really pretty embroidery on his shirt. I don't know about the striped sleeves, though. That seems like very, like... I don't know. Early 20 teens... something kind of scene. Kind of trying to be a little edgy. Want a coat like Glasses Guy? Yeah, Glasses Guy, he's the character we're playing, and he seems like... I like his outfit. This guy, yeah, the sleeves are a little much. I think he should have, like... No, see the what we kind of have going on here before it gets to the color, right? And you can kind of see it on the left sleeve over here. It's just like a different shades of purple situation. He should have done that for the entire sleeve. The color is a little much. Now it does match his pretty embroidery and his hat. Like it in some ways it pulls it all together, but it's just a bit much. You have this beautiful embroidery here. Don't pull the eye away from it. Draw the eye towards this. Let it shine. It's beautiful. It's like of a what? A little crane or something there? Let it do its thing. Okay, he's the judge, so we shouldn't be mean to him. The coat of red hat guy is nice. You mean this guy? That's pretty nice. Multiple undershirts, yeah. It kind of does. Oh, what's the bottom? What's he wear at the bottom? I don't know. I like this guy's. This guy has cool pants. I like his pants. Good guard there. I like this guy. I like his hat. Our guy. I like his hat. I like his glasses. Overall, he has a pretty nice outfit. I like his look. His little chain here is nice. I like him. He's very very spiffy looking. Oh wait, you traveling what? A traveling detective, I assume you said. My assistant Afu and I arrived in this town last night to obtain clues on an old case. Oops. I forgot to change the game on the category as well. Yeah, we go. There we go. Okay. There we go. Now we're good. Okay, I just remembered. Our steamship broke down midway, and we struggled until late to reach shore. I can't believe we got here so late. Oh, is that Afu? That's because somebody fried the ship's generator. Wait, he looks really cool. Can we zoom in on Afu? That's the shipmaster's fault, blah blah. You shouldn't be allowed to go near a generator. Okay. I want to look a little closer. Afu. He looks like the coolest guy. He has a couple. He's like 6 eyes, but you know, it's fine. A young lady crying over there. Oh, that's a shame. Is that the same lady who was crying about Master Lo being dead in the previous scene? Has she been crying this whole time? That's suspicious. Excuse me, miss. Are you all right? Hey, why did she run away? Perhaps it is a delicate matter. That's very generous of you. Well, let's continue on our way then. Okay. By the way, that novelist you're visiting a novelist? Is Master Lo a novelist? Is he really related to an open case? I think he could lead to the breakthrough we need. This must be the novelist's place. I'll see you later. What? Why is he leaving? Yeah. What? You don't want me to come? You need to go find parts to repair the something. Alright. Come back soon. I'm off then. Okay, goodbye. Press and hold shift to walk. Can I just run? Why do I have to walk? It's probably best to be polite. The vest looks like it'll look super fancy up close. Afu's, yeah. He's got absolute perfect looks fancy. Not abs. I see. Yeah. It would look like something, definitely. I liked his hair. It's like messy. I like messy hair like that. Who goes there? It's late. I am Shen Chongping. I have an appointment with Mr. Lo today. My journey was delayed by a storm en route. I did not wish to miss our appointment, so I took the liberty of arriving at such late hours. Shen Chongping. I tried to imitate what he said and it didn't go well. Shen Chongping. It's not ping. It's not. I'm not saying it right. Man, Chinese names. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Have we met before? We have never met in person. We have always communicated through letters. Oh, I see. One moment. But a reminder for everyone who goes crazy about pronouncing foreign words correctly, it is not a matter, usually, of pronouncing it correctly. It is usually a matter of just having an accent. And it is okay when people come to America and speak English with an accent, and it's equally okay for you to speak other languages with an accent. As long as the words are roughly close and recognizable, it's okay to have accents. Like, it's fine. So, You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Yeah, see, it's fine. Chinese people might be upset though, but you know what? They have to learn that people have accents. If they get upset, people have accents, and it's okay to have an accent. They have an accent too, and that's okay as long as I can understand. You know, that's what matters. Is as long as you can understand. Come in, Mr. Shen. Okay, I will come in. I'll take a drink too.
麻烦沈先生稍等一下。
Please wait a moment, Mr. Shen. Wait, you're the novelist? Why do you look like a detective? You mean I'm the detective in my little, like, boat hat, and you're the novelist? There's no way. Yeah, it looks like Sherlock. How is he not how is he just a novelist? How am I the detective? There's no way. There's no way. No way. You're the detective. I'm a detective enough to know that you're a detective. Just look at you. Just look at you, buddy. I know a detective when I see one, and this man is a detective. He's undercover, maybe. He's doing a bad job at it. There's people trying to speak English, but accented. Their willingness to at least try carries a lot of weight. Good faith and effort matters. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like, just try your best. And if it's not okay, then just everyone needs to be kind as long as people try their hardest, you know? Sometimes I won't try to go for the accent though, because like in some ways sometimes you just make it worse. And it's almost more insulting to speak poorly in an attempt, because at that point you're not speaking in the correct accent, and you're also not speaking in your accent. And they're like, why did you go for an incorrect accent that isn't even your own? And that kind of makes it worse. So sometimes it's worse. So it kind of depends on how confident you are at their accent, like if you feel like you're moving in the right direction or not. And what I tried there was not in the right direction. So I might just not, unless I'm feeling good, I might not go for the Chinese accent. So I think it might make things worse. But, you know, no one can wear that hat and a half cape without being a very specific sort of detective. Yeah. Was the number 221 mean to you? Yeah, I know. It's like, he's looking a little Asian though, but Sherlock Holmes is a master of disguise. Few times he tried to do the accent sounded so bad. Yeah, I actually got really good. One thing I was really glad that I watched, sometimes I'll read, instead of reading like the books or the manga for things, I'll watch an anime first, and then read the book, just because I want to like get a sense of the characters, before diving into the book. And it was so super helpful to do with Heaven Official's Blessing, because there's a ton of characters and they're all Chinese names. And like Japanese names, I'm pretty comfortable with at this point, but Chinese names I'm a little less familiar with. And one, just in terms of name recognition and sorting through who all the characters were, especially since characters go by multiple names, it was a little confusing. So like I can see how it would have been hard if I didn't have the like Donghua to help, like, and like the like watching it the English voice acting was crucial, let's say. And it also helped me pronounce all of the names correctly, because I feel like I wouldn't have been able to pronounce them correctly uh without without you know, the voice acting. So that was really crucial, and it really helped me be able to read the novels with getting everyone's name straight and pronouncing the names and stuff, like at least in my head even. So that was a really big thing. And so I feel pretty comfortable with uh those names. But like uh not not with these. I don't know these people. These people are strangers besides Sherlock Holmes here, who I'm very familiar with. He says his name is Lo Pei, but I don't know about that. I can tell the difference between trying but I have no idea versus I know a little and I'm trying to be insulting. Yeah, yeah. Southern guy grew up with Hollywood using your accent as either shorthand for this guy's, yeah, dumbass, or let's go way further with this accent than almost anyone actually does. Yeah. I have a lot of family who have like an Appalachian accent, and same type of thing. Is like, you know, yeah, it's kind of code for stupid. And I had professors in college who they code switched out of a southern accent because of the stigma around it. So they actually I've never heard the one professor in particular. I've never heard his accent, but apparently it's a deep southern drawl. But I've never actually heard him speak in his actual accent because he does not do that around people in a professional setting. Um, Cajuns, you can't understand either. Yeah, well, Cajun is uh different. Um, it's a uh what is it called? I'm blanking on the name, but it's not a it's like a what is it, like a pidgin language? Like it's not a it's a blanking on the word, but it's not a it's not the same language. It's not even a separate dialect. It's like a like it's not just a different dialect. Uh like it's a different sub language kind of. But because like southern accents, that's just a different accent. But like British isn't a different accent, or like the British accents. British English is a different dialect compared to American English, but Cajun is a different one of these other things, which is kind of like its own mini language, kind of like Afrikaans and Dutch, similar to that. Um, I just kind of forget what it's called. The deep bio draw can be difficult. Yeah. It's like it's a some other language. Um, it's like a sub language, but like a blended sub language. So yeah, that one's different because that is understandable because it is just a different language, pretty much. Okay, let's see what Sherlock Holmes wants here. Please wait a moment, Mr. Shin.
我得把手头的故事写
I
完，
must finish writing
怕
the
断了
story on
思路。
hand. I do not wish to break my train of thought.
没关系，我再从
Yeah,
镜
it's
头辨
yeah, it's
识。
a mix of French and English, and that's why it kind of counts as like its own little sub language. Gullah is as equally misunderstandable. Yeah, same thing, same thing. I don't know exactly where Gullah stands, but it's yeah one of those. Oh, Creole, that's it. Um, is what I was thinking of. Yeah. Um, they're like their own separate little language. No need to worry. I shall bide my time and await for yours.
晚上天凉，
It's cold in
想
the
麻烦
evening.
先生帮我
Could
关
I
门，
trouble you to
挂
close the
上门
door
栓。
and hang the latch for me? Yeah, close the door. What are you raising a barn? Although I'll say people in LA don't like to close doors. Yeah, I recognize that thing. Oh, right, I gotta close the door, huh? How do I do that? Bam. Put the bar over it. Yeah, there we go. Bam, I did it. Now what? Oh, I look in the mirror. There's me. Western style mirror. It seems out of place compared with the other furniture in this room. Perhaps he is Sherlock Holmes. Needs a Western style mirror to do his disguise. What else? Wardrobe. Or a disguise. A wardrobe slightly taller than a person. A lock hangs from the handles. I like the idea that Sherlock Holmes goes to China and tries to disguise himself, but he still wears the same, like, what is it, the deerstalker hat and outfit and everything. He just changes his race to look Chinese. He wears the same clothes. I like that. That's actually kind of funny. Well, I guess he's actually wearing longer pants and everything. He's just wearing the, like, over top. I find that a really funny idea. There are piles of old books underneath the novelist's bed. They are all covered in dust, which means that he has not read them in quite a while. Because they're not his. Because he's Sherlock Holmes. I don't think there's anything else to look at. Okay. Let's talk to Lo Pei.
门已关
If
上，
that is your
先生
name.
可以放心。
Outfit is a must for Sherlock. Apparently, the door has been closed. Please be at ease. Do we see any, like,
我这次前来，
drugs around?
确实是有钥匙。
Any opium, perhaps? That'll be a dead giveaway. I came here today on account of an important matter.
先生可曾听说过
My dear Watson, no one
3年前
understands the
发生在
language
英
of
国伦
clothing.
敦的
They will merely
那
assume
种
I
奇案？
am what I say I am, as they lack the context to recognize me. Sherlock does a line of cocaine. Yes, exactly. 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 Have you ever heard of the peculiar case that happened in London 3 years ago? Ooh, we're on to him. We asked, have you heard the peculiar case of in London? What do you say, buddy? ... Uh-huh, uh-huh.
案子的事情我们慢慢聊。
Let's take our time to talk about this case.
沈
Uh-huh.
先生舟车劳
You
顿，
must be
应
tired
该
from
还没有
traveling
吃东西
afar.
吧？
I'm sure you haven't had anything to eat yet. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Why aren't you talking about
这里
it?
有些本地
There are
特色
some
的
local
炒
rice
糕，
cakes on the
就
chest
在我
beside
旁边的
me.
箱子上。
Please, I insist,
请
have a
先生
taste. Why'd
务
you
必
say
尝一
local
尝。
like that? If you were really Chinese, you would have just said rice cakes. You wouldn't have mentioned how local they are.
那就
I'm
恭敬不如从
suspicious.
命了。
Then it would be rude of me to decline. Okay, let's have the rice cakes.
盘子里摆着几块晶
There are
莹
a
剔
few
透的
pieces
糕
of
点，
translucent pastries on the plate.
确实有些饿了。
I am quite hungry. Perhaps just one piece. Maybe he's from a different part of China. Maybe. 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 I guess that would be a good excuse for if he doesn't know. Oh no.
这糕里
No, wait, these rice cakes. How could they be poisonous? I thought surely that'd be too obvious.
事情就是这样。我吃
This
下
is
那
what
块
had
炒糕
happened.
后就晕了
After
过
I ate
去，
the cake, I lost
直到大人
consciousness
们出
until
现。
you all arrived.
你说
So you're
你是被
saying that
人
you
下
fainted
药
inside
了
this room
才
because someone
晕
had
倒在
drugged
房
you?
间中的吗？
的确如此。
That is correct.
狡辩！
I told you not to
即便被
weasel.
人下药了，凶手也只可能是
Even
你。
if you were drugged, the only possible murderer is you.
本部手
What?
握铁证，是
I've
绝
got
技不可
ironclad
能弄
proof.
错的。
There's no way I'm wrong. What do you mean? Oh, I mean, I guess I could have been drugged, and in my drugged stupor, I could have stabbed him. Because to be fair, he did die of stabbing it. It's quite apparent.
不知能否请马捕头详细
Officer
说一
Ma,
说
would it be possible to
你
ask
手
you
中的铁
to
证是什么？
elaborate on what the ironclad proof is?
大胆，竟敢挑衅
How
本
dare
部！
you trying to provoke me?
理越辩越明，
Truth fears no
知县
question.
大人也一定想
Surely the
听知你
judge
的分
also
析，
wants to
才
see
能
your
避免弄
proof
错。
to avoid misjudgment.
罗佩是本地名
Luo
人，
Pei is a local
本
celebrity.
官
I must
必
account
要
for
给
this
乡民
properly
一
to
个交
townspeople.
代。
I see.
马捕头就说说吧，
Tell us what you
人
know
抓
then,
的我
Officer
也
Ma,
安心
just so
点
I
儿。
could be at peace with this arrest. Can we just do a proper autopsy just to make sure he's like recently dead? Because I have a suspicion that he was here and then Sherlock came disguised as him, and then like did some Sherlocky things and then left, and then we discover the body now after he's already been dead. Sherlock probably didn't kill him, but he's probably already been dead. And Sherlock just saw an opportunity to take his identity. And you know, I don't know. I'm a little suspicious. I'm a little suspicious of this. Something weird's going on here.
好，
Okay, say, okay, Officer
让
Ma,
我
tell
清
us.
楚自己是如何被抓的
Fine.。Just so you know how you got caught. Deduction. Reasons for
禀章
suspecting
知县，
Shen
原因很
something.
简单，
Judge
直到我们
Chang,
发现尸体
Chang,
之
it's
前，
simple. Up
这
until
个
we
房间
found the
都
corpse,
处
this
于密
room
闭
was
的状态，
completely sealed off.
密闭状态。
Sealed off? What do you mean?
屋内唯一的窗
The
户
window
都有木
frame
格，
prevents anyone
人
from
是不可
entering
能进
or
出的。
leaving through it.
屋门又是从
The
内侧
door
插
was
上了门
bolted
栓
from。the inside. Why the wardrobe was locked. Yeah, exactly. I was thinking. I was like, because it did specifically mention it's a little bit taller than a man. So yeah, he could have put the body in the wardrobe. Sherlocky things like tasting the corpse. It's possible he could have done that. He could have had a little tasty taste and then been like, it's poison and
若非本捕一脚踹断
if
了
I
门
hadn't
栓，
broken the latch with
我
my
们都
kick,
进不了屋。
we wouldn't even have been able to get in. Yeah, but something could have happened before we showed up. We didn't show up until kind of late in the
这
night,
意味
man.
着，凶手只可能是
I
案
mean, I
发
guess
时
to be fair, the
还在
dead
屋
guy
内的
happened
人。
after us, but did it? Ooh, but can we check the wardrobe now? Because if Sherlock Holmes is in the wardrobe, just saying. But there could also be a different exit, because I think he's used weird little chimney exits and stuff before. Means that the murderer could only be somebody who was already in the room. Can we check the wardrobe? That somebody is you. They committed suicide.
怎么会这样？
How could this be?
房间是密闭的，
The room was sealed off,
还是
and
我
I
自
was
己
the
挂
only
上的
one,
门
and
上？
I was the one who hung the door latch.
李，
Ain't the
是
truth
不是
clear
越
as
辩越明了？
day now?
还不认罪？
Won't you just confess already?
马捕头刚刚
Officer
的
Ma's
分析还是
deduction
很
seems
清
quite
晰的，
precise. I believe there has
我
been no
想
misjudgment.
应该不会弄错了。沈先生，
Mr. Shen, unless you were able
除
to
非你
provide
能出
conclusive
示一
evidence to prove
份
your
能证
innocence,
明你自己无辜的决定性证据，否则本
I'll have
官
no
就要
choice
下
but to
令
give
将你
orders to
羁
take you
押
into
了。
custody.
我的双手都被绑着，
Both of my hands are tied.
该如
How
何
am I
在这么
supposed to
短的
find
时间
evidence
里
in such a
找
short
到决定
time?？
沈仲平，
Calm
你要
down,
冷静下来，
Shen Chongping.
通过观察
This
和推理
problem can
来
be
解决问
solved
题
through。observation and reasoning.
一切行为都
All
会在现
actions are
场留
bound
下
to
痕
leave a
迹。
trace on the scene.
我很清楚被
I
害
am
人不是我
absolutely
杀，
sure that I did not murder
有
the
人设了
victim.
局来陷害，
Someone is trying to frame me.
因此
So I will be able to
在
find
现场
a
遗留的痕迹
contradiction
中，
within the traces left
一
behind
定
at
能
the
找到
scene.
所谓的。
We
在
just
回答
check the
知县的问
wardrobe
题前，
first, just a little check
我
check.
必须先仔细观察一
Before
下
I
现
answer
场。
Judge Chung's questions, I need to carefully observe the scene first. Crime scene investigation. Oh. Good. Okay. Why am I looking at everything through am I looking at through the mirror? The victim died facing upwards, with multiple wounds on his chest, clothes stained with blood. My hands and feet are tied, so I can't get any closer to see any other details of the corpse. The blood on my sleeve most probably belongs to the deceased. It seems like there is also blood on my back as well. Quit moving, you punk. What are you trying at? Officer Ma, could I trouble you to help me take off my coat? Boy, how dare you order me around? I would like to take a taste at the back to see if it is... Sorry, take a taste. I'm reading your guys' stuff. I would like to take a look at the back to see if it is also stained with blood. Indeed, Mr. Shen, there are bloodstains on your back. That's gotta be Master Lo's blood. The left sleeve is stained with blood, and there are blood spatters across the back. Am I right-handed, though? Yeah, he seems a little gung-ho. He wants... Maybe it's him. He really wants to pin it on us. But look, the stab wound is here. We did it with our left hand. Which would be... Well, we have blood on our left hand, but why? Look at the knife. A short blade stained with blood. This should be the murder weapon, found within my grasp, and now seen as evidence against me. A dagger stained with blood. It was found within my grasp. Now seen as evidence. Okay, yeah, what I said. I can see my reflection in the mirror. My face is pale, and I look quite dreadful. I do somewhat resemble a murderer. No, it's the same thing, okay. The victim died facing... Okay, yeah. Can we look at the blood spatter? Several long continuous blood spatters on the floor. They are cast-off pattern bloodstains. Okay, we unlock knowledge about blood spatter. We're like Dexter, guys. There is an evident gap within the 3 longest bloodstains. Except we're not a murderer. We didn't do it. There's a gap within the 3 longest blood... What does that mean? How could this be? A gap in a bloodstain is most likely caused by... something being removed. The disruption of the bloodstain was likely because something blocked the path of the splatter. The appearance of a gap shows that something that was once there has been moved. Completed. Oh, we completed
找到
it.
能自证清白
Have
的
you found
证据
evidence
了
that can
吗？
prove your innocence?
这件证据就
No.
能证明我的清白。
This piece of evidence will be able to prove my innocence. Me, because I was laying there, right? Aren't I the blood? Here's proof.
请问马捕头，
Because
一个
this
背
is
对死者的
Dongam
人
Frampa.
能够用刀杀人吗？
Objection. Officer Ma. Is a person able to kill someone with a dagger while having his back towards them?
自然不能。
Of course not.
那么，
Blood on your back if you stab the guy. See, but we could stab him and then just turn around. Like, you know, I don't know. If so,
这件血衣
this bloodstained
便能
coat will
证
be
明我
able
的
to
清
prove
白。
my innocence.
难道这血衣
So
不是
this
你的？
coat ain't yours?
是我的，
It is
正
mine.
穿在我
I
身
am
上。
wearing it.
真是胡闹！
What kind of
你手
nonsense
上
is
持
this?
刀，衣
With
服带
dagger
血，
and blood, you're
还敢
still
说自己无罪？
saying you ain't guilty?
沈先生，
Mr.
这
Shen,
件
how does this
血衣
bloodstained
如
coat
何
prove that
能
you are
证明
innocent?
你是无辜的？请看衣服上血
Take
渍
a
的位
look at
置，
where the bloodstains
出现
are.
在背后，
They appeared on the
而
back
不是胸前。
and not across the chest.
这又能
So
说
what
明
does
什
that
么呢？
imply? What do you think? Why are you so stupid?
说明死者的
It
血溅出
implies
时
that，I have my back.
我是背对着他的。
I know China's system has a hard test culture. You're a judge, buddy. How'd you test into that position with this limited mental capacity? Okay? Keep up, buddy. Keep up. Your brains are slipping. It implies that I had my back towards the victim when his blood was
我
spilled.
既然背对死者，
As my back
自然
is
无法
facing the
举刀扎
victim,
他的
I
胸
am
膛，
unable to raise a dagger to
因此
stab
凶
his
手不是
chest.
我。
This guy, the guy with the sleeves, he's a judge. Yeah, he's a judge.
你定是
You
在
must
杀
have
人的
turned
时
your
候
clothes
把衣服
inside out
反
when
过
you
来穿了。
committed the murder.
这种鬼把戏
What？
本部见得多了。
Such trickery is nothing new to me. Then how did I get? If we wouldn't have inside out, we would have changed it back front. Stupid.
马捕
He's
头，
just an officer.
请看这里，
Backhand stab technique. Officer Ma, please look here.
地上有2道总是连续
The
的抛
floor
甩
is
状
multiple
血迹，
cast-off blood
它们的
pattern
中间
bloodstains,
有一个明显的
including
断
one
层。
with a noticeable gap.
断层的出现，
It shows that there was
说明在
once
那里
something
原
there
本有一个
that
遮
had
挡
been
物。
moved later on.
难道有人破
Did
坏了
someone
现
mess
场？
with the crime scene?
那个遮挡物，
That something was probably me.
我没猜错的话，
That was some random guy. No,
背上的
it's an
血渍
officer and a
应
judge.
该能与地上的血迹拼合起
If
来。
I am right, the bloodstain on my back should be able to match the bloodstain on the floor. With a dagger and backflip at him. Dude, okay, first off. I don't understand why we aren't saying that there's a larger story here. Because remember how we were telling Afu just the night before that this novelist, right, that Lope was somehow involved in a different case that we were currently investigating, and we thought he was going to give us information about that case. Clearly, he's already implicated in things. And there was a woman crying outside. How is that not merit of further investigation, you know? I mean, come on. But for some reason we have to clear our name first. It's like, I think there's enough to, I don't know if they do the shadow of the doubt thing, but where's the other guy? Our assistant, you mean? I don't know, somewhere outside. If I'm right, the bloodstain on my back should be able to match the pattern on the floor.
这便能证明，
We told him to go
案
somewhere
发时
else.
我已经晕倒在地上。
Fix the generator or whatever it was. This will, and I don't think he knows how to do that, so he might be a while. This will prove that I am unconscious on the floor during the time of the crime.
而倒在地上
You can also test the rice
是
cakes,
没办
man.
法持
Like,
刀捅人，并留下那样的血迹的。
and I know you have poison testers. I know this because I've read the manga and the light novels and seen a lot of the anime. I'm not caught up in any of those, but for the Apothecary Diaries, I've seen a bunch of them, and Mao Mao is a poison tester, and I bet you she would be so happy to eat those rice cakes for you and tell you exactly what type of poison is in them. I tell you, and she would be able to verify. I think he would wonder where his boss went. Oh no, his boss was, I think, supposed to stay here the whole night, probably. So for this, for the Apothecary Diaries, about a it's not in China, I don't think, but like a Chinese inspired place, about a poison tester girl and the palace. Without spoiling anything. But yeah, so I think I'm poison testers, man. I think I'm poison testers. You got poison testers. I'm not being crazy, be like, oh, analyze the rice cakes. No, I can analyze the rice cakes. Go to jail because the judge goes, yeah, but you're here, the corpse is here, suggestion requires work, interest in not having to do work, you're guilty, yeah. Suppose that can be the case. Where are we from even though? Because this could have different political implications if we're from, you know, a different place in China, you know? I don't know. The thing about the Warring States period is there were different states that were warring. I don't know. My Chinese history is a little weak. I don't even know. This isn't. I'm pretty sure this isn't the Warring States period because they have a generator on the boat. But that's fine. Look at this point, Tibius in Mau Mau, but years. I don't know. I think it takes place in the 1800s or early 1900s even. Like I think it's legitimately Sherlock Holmes time. We'll say that. Because their boat had a generator. It was like a steamboat. I would not have been capable of stabbing him to create such bloodstains as I laid on the floor. See, Judge Chung, there's some truth to that. The British East India Company looks at all this. Yeah. Therefore, the truth of the matter is, after the murderer killed Lopez, he planted the dagger in my hands to frame me for his crime. Even while you are completely tied up, you are still able to calmly analyze the crime scene. Yeah, because we're detectives, stupid. Mr. Shen, that's impressive. It seems that you really are a detective. Yeah. Thanks. Keep unlocking facts. Where do I look at more of these facts? You flatter me, Judge Chung. So my suspicion has finally been cleared. As the only two people in this room, if you ain't the murderer, you're saying he killed himself? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Also, check the closet. Doubt raised. Did Lopez commit suicide? If I want to find out the truth, I need to thoroughly investigate the crime scene. However, with my hands and feet tied, it is impossible for me to investigate. Officer Ma, how about we untie him? Lord, what if he... Rest assured, Judge Chung, I will not leave this place until we get to the bottom of this case. Sherlock takes place between 1880 and 1914. So it might have been Sherlock. Yeah, exactly. It fits. It fits. I'm getting real Sherlock. Everything checks out, really. I will not leave this place until we get to the bottom of this case. Also, sorry, piecing together here. But Sherlock in BBC Sherlock is played by Benedict Cumberbatch, who also played Doctor Strange. Who wasn't Doctor Strange trained by a Chinese monk, or was she Chinese or not? I'm not really sure. I kind of forget. But I think it was something like that because I slept through that movie. But I think it was something like that, and so I'm kind of getting the pieces coming together. I'm a detective. Okay. If you try any funny business under my nose, you'll pay for it. Okay. It was Chinese monk. Yeah, I mean, it sounds right? Yeah. Maybe Tibetan. Well, Tibet's currently in China, unfortunately. But, you know, that's... So, yeah. Something like that. Something like that. I am finally allowed to move around this room. Yay! Freedom! Please bear with me for the joke. I'm finally allowed to move around this room. Yay, freedom! Chinese freedom! Okay, anyway. Eastern mysticism rather than Merlin. Eastern mysticism. Woo! But to be fair, the East does good. Eastern mysticism too, right? Like I said, like Heaven Official's Blessing is really good, and they do a lot of like their like Taoist beliefs and stuff into the story, but like very like, you know, mythologized version of like they like honestly, if it were a like Westerner who made that story, it would have been so insulting. But since they're Chinese, like I guess it's fine for them to like play with Taoism that way. But yeah, it's cool stuff. So Jade Emperor sends his regards. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That sort of stuff. Okay. We have freedom now. We have freedom. We can move around the room. Let's see. Because I wanted to keep stream kind of short. I need to investigate the crime scene as quick as possible. I can't miss a single detail. Throughout investigations, I will surely encounter many doubts. I should think carefully. Yeah, we probably should think carefully. Okay. Actually, I might even end stream here because I don't know how long this part's gonna take. So we'll just figure this out next time. We'll do our proper investigation. We know where we left off. Sherlock Holmes is dead on the ground. We're a detective. We're allowed to move around the room. This judge is lazy. This guy hates us for unknown reasons. This person is crying. Probably because of the dead guy. There are no rice cakes left, but we'll look at that later, and we're going to investigate, because I also don't know how to do that, and I haven't learned the game mechanics. So we'll finish the rest next time, but we should be able to save. Save. Empty slot, confirm. Yes. Exit game. We'll finish this next time. I like this game so far. This is going well. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Yeah, you're looking. Dude, Dallas with that one, yeah. I mean, it kind of like, it's they really play around. I mean, Taoism doesn't, yes, in its core beliefs, it doesn't have a lot of like story to it. I mean, it's really just a philosophy. It's not really even a full religion per se. It just has a bunch of different schools that do kind of add on to the belief. But that's one thing that's always weird to me is like from a Western perspective at least, a lot of different martial arts and stuff like seem to have this like ancient history, right? This revered history. Um, but that's really not the case. Like at least a lot of the schools of martial arts like are very modern, or like they'll go back to like the 1850s, right? And like cuz like a lot of my friends growing up like in college and things, like most of my friends were black belts in taekwondo for instance. And like just like I know a bunch of people growing up who like did karate and things, and like it sounds like it's this like ancient thing, but then if you actually look, it like the branch that they're a part of only goes back like a couple hundred years. Um and like it's based on a different type of martial art from earlier, but the martial arts that people practice today aren't that old. So those martial arts form way more recent. Yeah. Yeah. Like obviously people fought earlier, but like they're not that ancient really. They're pretty modern. Even samurai, right? Like from like a different like fighting angle are surprisingly modern compared to like the way people make them out to be. They'll be like, who would win in a fight, a Spartan warrior or a samurai, or something, right? Or even like a medieval knight and a samurai, and it's like they're kind of from different time periods. But people, it's a mistake that a lot of Westerners make, or at least from a Eurocentric point of view, people who are mostly educated from a European standpoint of time don't really realize that like a lot of things that they consider ancient for other cultures are very modern. So things that be like ancient Africa, for instance, might just be 100 years old, or even ancient. Like, I know a lot of people consider like mahjong, right? They're like, oh, mahjong, it's an ancient game, and it's like, yeah, from the 1880s. Would that be ancient in Europe? Like, what do you mean ancient? And like, uh, but they just consider it because it's more foreign and exotic to them. They kind of lump that in with it being ancient, and so it's very unfortunate. Buddhist in Osaka came down off the mountain, decided to be violent. It's pretty old, yeah. Um, it's just like, yeah, it's kind of weird the way people just like have a very misunderstood time frame of non-European cultures. 100 years ago is old to Americans, 100 miles away. Yeah. Well, for things in America. Well, I guess. I mean, I guess you're I mean, people say that. The house I grew up in was built in 1900, so that's not always the case. For if you live on the East Coast, 100 years isn't all that old. Compared to someone from like the Midwest or over here in California. Here in California, 100 years is pretty old. Um, but like, so that isn't even true for all of America, really. But yeah, the East Coast is a bit older. But yeah, same sort of thing. It really just depends on your education. Like, it's not even necessarily American, I'd say. Though I guess Europe has a tendency to have older things, so they are less like impressed by age. But like, uh, but even like Europeans will like think of like, oh, that's like a long time ago. Um, they'll like be like, oh, this isn't that old. It's only from like 1200 or something, right? But they'll then look at something from, China and they'll be like, oh, this is like an ancient Chinese art. And it's like it was developed in the 1700s. What do you mean? And they'll be like, yeah, ancient. And it's not that old. They just have this perception of it being very different. And because it's different, it means it's old or like primitive, right? Because they also like look at other cultures and they're like, oh, well, it's before you were westernized, so it's a more primitive thing. Right? This has to do a lot, especially with uh less with Asia and more with like the Americas, right? Like it's crazy how people can look at like the Aztec and go, "Oh yeah, they're an ancient civilization." And it's like, then why were they fighting the like Renaissance Europeans? They're ancient, but we're already in the Renaissance. Like we're at Shakespeare's time when you're fighting the freaking Aztecs. Like, well, not quite Shakespeare's time. Henry VIII and the Aztecs are like roughly the same lifespan, right? And it's just kind of like not even roughly they are, right? And it's like you wouldn't call Henry the Eighth ancient, like and but they'll call the Aztec ancient because they're like, oh well, but they're like primitive. And it's like, ooh, it's such a bad thing. Yeah, societal ego. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And they do that with Asia as well. And the difference is Asia's like a lot of these ancient sort of things are very recent. So people will say samurai are very ancient, but then it's like, what do you mean samurai being ancient? They're like from barely over 100 years ago. Like, what do you mean? And like it's not until you actually engage with like, Asian media where you start to realize like, oh wait, that actually wasn't that long ago. Um, yeah, the Spanish fleet, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, exactly. You think of like it's based on it's not even like the time period, right? It's like you're just deciding who has and I mean in some ways like cuz ancient peoples weren't stupider than us, right? Like they're the same level of evolution as us. They just are working off a different technology set than we are. Which is how you can be, medieval Europe, but somewhere else because you're working with different technology sets. And that's just so kind of weird though because like throughout different like in the Middle Ages, like Europe had great advances in certain things, but like for instance in medicine and mathematics, like the uh uh I like the Middle East, I kind of forget what it was at the time, like mm, the Arabs. I'm sorry, I don't know what the name of their civilization is in the area at the time. I'm like blanking. Like the caliphates, I guess, were yeah. Yeah, exactly. We like built what we know off of what ancient peoples had. And they just didn't have what we have. And even other people around the world, like the Maya didn't have wheels, right? They like never invented the wheel, but they were still able to make like great constructions and their city planning was fantastic. We have a lot to learn from their city planning. And they lived in places that don't receive rain, which or not sorry, don't receive rain, but that only collected rainwater. They did not have freshwater rivers or like the sea, and they could only gather rain from carefully preserving gathered rainwater and carefully managing their water systems. And like those are a lot of technologies that we don't have and use. And especially our city planning, we could have way better city planning. We have horrible in the United States, we have horrible city planning, but the Maya had really great city planning. And like we could actually learn a lot by implementing some of the things the Maya did, but we like don't. I mean, we actually know. That's how we know it was good city planning because we know what good city planning is. We just don't do it. But like there's yeah, someone and of course for any time period, the Polynesians have been the best seafarers, eco-friendly construction to a certain degree. Now the Maya actually did a lot of environmental problems in some of their areas with some deforestation issues and stuff that they had. But you know, give and take. But like yeah, for boats, you know, the Polynesians like have their ability with the sea way outstrips anyone else. You know, like com- from what anyone else has done. I mean, if they had the technology we have, like they'd be shooting it out. I mean, technically they do because the Polynesians still exist today. They just don't have the same goals anymore. Good use of water flows, terrace agriculture. Hmm. And sectioning out the city. Like their cities had like different neighborhoods with neighborhood gardens and things. And like uh like very neighborhood based constructions and like yeah, it was really very well designed. Which we didn't realize until we had LiDAR scoping out the rainforest because we didn't realize how big their cities were. Especially in the residential areas that are harder to track down because the buildings are smaller, and we didn't really know that until recently, and we're still discovering how great Maya city planning was. But but yeah, there's so many different like things, but phrase walkable cities, it's a bit more modern than accurate. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of like the case. Like some of the actually when I react to my TikToks, I know I have some in there talking about like walkable cities. Like Europeans will be like, "Why don't Americans have walkable? Just walk to the corner store. Americans don't walk enough. Why go to the market in a car? Why not just walk to the corner store and buy things?" It's like because we don't have corner stores because we have residential and commercial zoning because our government was paid off by car manufacturers to design cities in a way that requires cars. That's why the car lobbyists, the good car lobbyists, money going into and the whole like, oh well, we're gonna build our automotive industry to build up our workforce and our economy, and so we need people buying cars, so we need to design cities that require cars. And that's why we don't have corner stores and things like that. And like it is intentional on the part of the United States. It is intentional. Unfortunately, it's all about money. But it's mm, what can you do? What can you do? Um, but I'm saying, but yeah, but that so yeah, so it's like a lot of other places around the world, and Africa still gets this probably the worst is the whole primitive primitivization of their modern cultures. Kind of considered not modern because they don't make use of the same technology and systems we do, which is kind of unfortunate because that shouldn't be the case. Expanding, they design really badly because combination of tradition, elitism, and contractors. Oh yeah, and the elitism as well, right? Because a lot of cities were designed with racism in mind, um, which is also unfortunate. The like boom in the 50s, especially the 40s and 50s of the what you call it? I forget what it's called. Blanking on the name right now because it's been a tiring week. But the thing where they don't let black people live in the suburbs and force them to live in the inner city and stuff like that. Um, but I don't know. I don't know how we break out of that because a lot of people aren't even aware that it's a thing. But of our city designs, people, because speaking from someone out here in LA, which is designed horribly, absolutely atrociously, most people are like, well, but this is how it has to be. There's no other possible way to design a city. This is how cities are. And it's like, no. You look at a map of LA and you're like, no, it does not have to be like this. Does not have to be like this. Not how it has to go. And they're like, no, there's no other possible way it could happen. Like, nope. Have you considered public transit? And they're like, no, LA can't have public transit. And it's like, why not? Or they're like, LA actually has good public transit. No, it does not. No, it does not. And like they just no, the people are just ugh. They don't realize, they don't understand, um, and, like, yeah, they're no, people are they don't think they're very locked into things the way they are, you know? Those are the S's for anyone who was here the other day, we were talking, Myers-Briggs personality types. The S's, they're not very good at projecting, other alternatives, right, with the intuition can kind of map out another alternative. S's are very good at understanding what is rather than thinking possible systems of what could be. Got a very iffy A on a paper forever I go about designing a mission trip advocated for showing up a small group of people whose goal was to provide money for local workers to build improvements in homes rather than giving American high schoolers a 1 month as construction worker in Central America. Yeah, I mean that's always the case for that sort of stuff as well. Is empowering local workers to do things. And a lot of times those charities, right, will be frowned upon, unfortunately, because it sounds bad when you're like, "Oh, I'm going to go there and help locals do the work, and I'm going to teach them how to do the work." And they'll be like, "Why are you making locals do the work? Why not just do the work for them? They're already having a hard enough time as it is. Just do the work for them. Why are you teaching them how to do things?" Um and like, or why are you giving them money to do the work? Why don't you just do the work? But it's good to empower local people so that they can design things the way they want, and also uh so that, well, and also educate them though on the best ways, because they might not have the best education in those things. Not their fault, not their fault, right? It's the education systems that they have available. And so that's why you can help provide education. But a lot of people miss out on that. And so like a lot of the best, my favorite charities are ones that provide jobs in those places. But people will be like, "Oh, that's just slave labor." And it's like, okay, yeah, but as long as they're being, I mean, not, yeah, it's not slave labor, but as long as they're being paid, like, uh, a correct amount, which might still be small in terms of the American economy, but might be a reasonable amount in their own economies, as long as they're, fair trade certified payments and everything. It's better to empower them with their own jobs and build their own economies rather than just give them continual handouts, because, you need to build up their own local systems and stuff. But which in a lot of places is giving women tools to have jobs. Even if it's just like running a like jewelry making business or something, or doing art. And you have things that they can do in the home without education, that they can then sell online to Americans or whatever who want, local art or something, is still way better. It sounds bad and it sounds exploitative, but it's not. It's empowering the local communities, and it's actually the smart way to do it. Serves more to inject currency into local markets rather than extract value from those locations. Yeah, yeah. It's like as long as you know the pay is fair, and as long as the working conditions are fair, like it's better to have them work. They need to be able to run their economy without outside help eventually, is kind of the idea, and you want to stimulate their local economy. So, you need to keep the money moving rather than just dumping it in and everything. So, but a lot of nonprofits don't work like that, and a lot of people again frown on ones that make locals work, because they're like, that sounds like slave labor, and it's like, not. It's just having them do jobs. We're the market for what they create, yes, but like if we're paying them, it's not slave labor. And they're like, "Well, you're not paying them as much as you'd pay an American." Yeah, because their economy's different. That's just how it works, man. I'm sorry. Like, it's they're still being paid plenty to, help fund their economy. And if their economy grows bigger, then they'll charge more one day. Like, there's international standards for what is fair pay. And, Nestle doesn't follow that, but as long as other people follow that, then that's good. So, but anyway, that's not really the point. But yeah, the point is that I don't know, don't exoticize other people and put them down because they're other cultures and things like that. So yeah, a lot, especially in terms of like, especially like this game and other Asian games. Asian cultures might seem really ancient, but they are not. People just don't understand comparable technology levels and cultural and artistic things. Um, and like, oh, and that's another thing. Europeans will, you've heard good things about low interest local scale microloans. Oh yeah, yeah, like microloans, like the wasn't it Kiva loans, right? Those were, I don't know about the organization per se, but they were really big a while back. The idea of the microloans to different businesses and stuff. Those were seem to be going really well. I don't know about the organization itself, but the concept of microloans were really good. hmm Um, and what was I saying? About oh yeah, it's another thing when a discourse. This was a TikTok discourse, so hopefully I don't have to see it ever again. But it was Europeans complaining about Americans, right, for having weak houses. Why do your houses all fall down or in tornado? Blah blah blah. And Americans are all like, we build them not out of stone and brick, but out of wood so that they do fall apart in a tornado, because a tornado can also destroy brick and stone homes, but they're more dangerous when they do, and they're harder to rebuild. So we do it out of wood because they're easier to rebuild and they're less dangerous when they do fall and collapse. So it's way better this way. It's more cost effective and less disastrous when that happens. And that's why we build the way we do. And we also, in a lot of areas, don't need the heat retention that stone and brick brings, and that can also be a hindrance to places in the summer who need better things. Yeah, the housing materials argument. And for Europeans to pull the like, well, but you're so primitive for building with wood. It's so primitive. And it's like, have you met traditional Japanese housing? Hello? Like, how dare you say that building out of wood is primitive? Japan builds out of paper. Like, it's like you can't say that. You can't say that because yeah, you're not meaning to be racist because you're using it against Americans in this argument, but the same argument can be said to an even greater extent against Japan and also other Asian cultures as well. I'm less familiar with the architecture of other Asian countries though. Like I'm much more familiar with the buildings in Japan. But like, it's racist though if you say it about Japan. So like maybe don't bring up that argument because like it's not you're not going a good direction with that. But then they're going to be like, "Well, I don't mean Japan. Japan's different." And it's like, is it though? Is it because it's the same argument? It's the same argument. Why is it not primitive when they do it, but it's primitive when we do it? Huh? That doesn't make sense. No. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go because I want to try to get a good night's sleep or a better night's sleep at night. Try to fix my sleep schedule. So, we'll see how that goes. But this game was already a fun start. I really like it. I think this is what I needed. I was kind of like, I know I'm in the middle of a bunch of different games, sort of, but I'm just kind of like not feeling those right now. I kind of needed something new. Less of localized design. There's so many houses in the southeast that are designed for northern stoves. Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. A lot of different places are just designed incorrectly for different locations because they're like whatever's I mean that's one thing is out here in LA like there are so many different housing styles. Like it is crazy. Like I've never seen a city like this before. Like back in the east, you usually have a whole like section of town where all the houses are pretty much the same style because they were all built around the same time, right? But out here there are like everyone's building in the past 100 years and they're all like drawing their own inspirations of different housing styles and they'd be built at the same time, but everyone has is coming with such a creative mindset that they're like, I'm going to build, yeah, well someone out here will build like a mid 50s ranch home and someone else will build a Victorian home next to it and someone else will build a Tudor right next to it and then someone else will build a modernist home and then someone right next to it will build like a like medieval cottage looking place. Like what? And then the next person is building like a pueblo style house. And yeah, it's like everyone will do yeah, that's a really common for I mean a lot of places have that kind of style of house. But like yeah, out here everyone has like their own like where I'm from, I feel it was a lot of colonials and some Victorians. Most of the house a lot of the houses were built in like 1800s or so. Um, so I forget the type of house it is exactly, but it's kind of like in that vibe of like a colonial kind of. Um, they're like brick with a porch and a door in the middle and two windows on the side and two windows on the second floor and then like a little like dormer window up on top. You know those? Had one ultra modern geodesic dome, one Tudor, two craftsmen, and a ton of ranch. I see. An interesting collection. But yeah, probably more of the really boring type. But yeah, out here in LA is really weird. It's really weird. There's so many different styles, which is really cool on the one hand, but it's also like, what are we doing, guys? We walk around the city, like there's not even an area that has the same. Everyone next to it is all weird, completely different styles, which is kind of fun. But it also just reminds you that how much LA feels like an amusement park. But yeah. But anyway, Okay, enough architecture talk. Yeah, you're generally excited to see, interested to see where the game goes. Yeah, yeah. It seems like a cool game. Like we just got a taste of the style, but yeah. We got some taste of the style of the game. And I think I'll play it next week. Tomorrow's Spooky Saturday though, so we're playing spooky games. Don't know what yet, haven't quite decided. Might do because I have all those indie horrors I downloaded, and I need to just download newer ones because I haven't updated it. But maybe we'll do our indie horror bingo tomorrow, finally. We'll see. I have to get all these TikToks downloaded too, actually. And those won't be ready for a while because I have to put them into like because they're all separate, um separate video files and I have to combine them all into, stick them all into Premiere and export them as more elongated videos. Guess that's a weird way to describe it. That's probably not the right way to say it, but yeah. So yeah, I want to get a better night's sleep, get more on top of things. Yeah, and yeah, I didn't realize how stressed I was until I was exhausted this week. And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay, I can see what happened." So, gotta get back on top of things. It's probably gonna be a weird couple of weeks as well. Like I said, I'm not sure mentally and emotionally how going back to work is gonna be when so many people have lost their homes. Like that's just a weird situation. I don't know how taxing that will be for me to like navigate. So I was already complaining about how awkward it can be socially. It's only gonna get worse. Only gonna get worse. Not to mention having to kind of navigate doing my job with my coworkers in these sorts of conditions where they're like, oh, we have lower expectations of you guys for the next few months, but at the same time, like, what does that mean? Exactly what do we have to do? Things like that. Don't wish that do I evacuate yet? Stress. Yeah, it's rough. It was rough. And like it's just the like yeah, the constant unsure, having to check the maps all the time and everything was tough. Um, but being able to look out on the balcony and see the orange of the fires and the smoke and stuff, is like it's rough. But it's mostly over now, at least. It's technically not over yet though, but it's mostly over. We're getting there. And yeah, it'll probably be a weird few months, definitely. But it'll probably be a weird couple weeks like adjusting to just for me to readjust. I was still trying to I'm like trying, you guys I mentioned all my goals for the year. So I'm, was already kind of trying to add on a bunch of new work and really get on top of things for 2025, but then this kind of like barreled on in and really threw me off track. So, it's kind of weird. We had 2 weeks off for like the holidays, and then we went back to work for like 2 days, and then we had another 2 weeks off for these fires by the time we go back. And like these 2 weeks were a whole different ball game to those other 2 weeks. The holiday 2 weeks were restful, felt a lot longer. These 2 weeks went by really fast and they were very stressful. And like no one's gonna be rested when we come back. It's gonna be so weird. So one time you looked out from your porch, you could see the fire coming over the hill nearby. Yeah. At least I couldn't actually see the fire from where I lived, at least. Like I just saw the glow in the smoke. Um, I couldn't see the fire, but I know if my building were taller, I would have been able to see some of the fire. Um, my building just wasn't tall enough. In some ways, thank goodness, because I didn't have to deal with that. But rest when you need to, stuff happens. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Burnout sucks. And like I said, like last year, I didn't stream besides like a couple, a foiled attempt, not foiled, but a poor attempt, maybe too early attempt in April. I didn't stream January through August because like I was just going through a lot of stuff, personal life stuff. Worse, like more personal stuff than this fire stuff. So like this fire stuff like really like largely didn't affect me. It mostly just disrupted my sleep cycle and was stressful for a couple days. But it did affect a bunch of other people. So I might just be like kind of weird. Um, kind of like drained a little bit, possibly, depending on how dealing with other people works. But it's less like personally upsetting to me. So um Yeah, so I should be fine, but I still wanna, like, not push it too much, and I do still wanna do the other things that, I wanna do too, in addition to streaming. So, I wanna make sure I have time for that. So, I think I should be good, but I think I'm gonna probably stream same days as usual from here on out. Tuesday, maybe, maybe not. Said I go back to work, so we'll see. But I think from here on out, it should be usual streaming days, but the time and length of the streams might be different, I think. Sometimes hitting that 5 o'clock PST can be like a little pressure. That's why I usually don't hit that mark anyway. But kind of going to ease up, and sometimes I might stream at 6 or 7 PST, if that just feels better. And then the streams might be shorter, and even if I start at 5, they might still be shorter. Kind of see. I might even throw in some extra streams, but that more streams and shorter ones. We'll kind of see. But I'll try to at least stick to streaming on the days that I say I'm going to stream. But I can't guarantee the time or the duration of the streams. But that's gonna be kind of I'll try to hit my normal marks, but I'm not gonna, push myself to do it. But yeah, there's guilt. I decided to evacuate. Second guess what you did. Too early or too late. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I had up the like hotel I was gonna evacuate to last Friday when things like seemed to be going okay, and then all of a sudden the fire was making leaps and bounds and they were evacuating a lot more people. And like I was really nervous. That's when I hadn't packed before, but then I started packing. And I packed my stuff up and I was like ready to go, and I picked out what hotel I would go to, and like Saturday night was when it was supposed to get bad, and I remember I was talking to my mom Saturday afternoon, and I was like, "Hmm, should I just evacuate for tonight or not?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't really want to if I don't have to, but it'll be really hard to get out like in the middle of the night, family and friends. Mm-mm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like for me, it was just me, so at least I didn't have anyone else to like deal with. Um, but yeah. And see, that's the thing is I'm happy with the decisions I made, right? I like didn't evacuate and I didn't need to. So I'm kind of happy with that. If I had evacuated, I feel like I would have felt guilty that I had like spent over $100 on a hotel that I didn't need to, you know, to pay for. So but yeah, but the stress at the moment, right, of like not knowing is rough. Um and I mean, I guess if I had evacuated, I would have at least slept better, I suppose. Um but yeah, so but anyway, so we'll see how yeah, it's rough, but we'll see how things go, and we'll see, like I said, I came off pretty nice from all this, personally, but, I'm very minorly affected overall, but a lot of the people I work with were severely affected, and like I said, a third of the people I worked with lost their homes, which is a large portion, large portion. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna feel once I have to deal with that, you know? Um, so, we'll see. We'll see. Um, but, uh, but yeah, it's gonna be a lot to navigate and deal with, and something that is not in my job description normally. So, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I'll look. There's a lot of things. Twitch has been highlighting people who have been doing disaster. You can always donate to the LA Fire Department. But there's a lot of other. Right now, though, I know a lot of people. Um, there have been so many for local stuff. There's been so many. I'll mention. I'll look up a something that is good to donate to. But you can look too. Like I said, Twitch has been promoting people who are fundraising for the wildfires. So you can look up and see what who's been promoted. I know yesterday I think, or for a while at some point they had like a whole shelf on the front page for people doing charity streams for the fires. Um, and World Kitchen, I think, are the people who've been providing a lot of the food at the shelters and stuff, and for people. Um, so a lot of that. But there've been a lot of local drives and things, and I know from like Markiplier's video. You can look up that as well. Markiplier was evacuated. He talked from the fire across town, and he talked about that for a bit. And he said they went to one of their local like collection centers, not even the biggest one of the like smaller ones. And there was a line down the road around the block of people waiting to give a bunch of stuff. And by the time they got there, they weren't even able to give everything they wanted to because they didn't need everything they had to give. So, I think I know yesterday Kit Boga was and his people under his management, I think. So he said I think like Germa was streaming later as well for the same. They were raising money for Habitat for Humanity, who was going to come out here and help rebuild too. Though I know its Habitat for Humanity has been questionable in the past. I think as many major nonprofits sometimes are, but I think maybe locally they're fine. It might be international stuff, might be a bit sketchy or localized stuff in certain places, um like I for the most part, like I said, Kippo is one of my favorite streamers, so I kind of trust that he has an idea of he's maybe looked into it, hopefully. But yeah, those are some places that like at least the LA Fire Department and LAFD and World Kitchen and Habitat for Humanity are all places that could be uh are places to give to if you want to help. Uh but yeah, currently I'm not financially in a position to help out, unfortunately, which is also kind of frustrating because like, oh, I want to help, but like I can't. Because like that was part of the thing was moving here to this neighborhood, which was in more danger than my old neighborhood. Um, this year was kind of like a financial investment for me, so I'm still kind of saving back from this move. So have possible issue to habitat for Andy, but you tend to trust it a bit. Haven't heard specific issues. Yeah, I think I've heard of stuff, but like it's been I don't know what it was, but like I think more like drama at specific locations. Yeah, anything big has issues. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, but a lot of times the like larger organization has issues, but like smaller branches are fine. Or certain branches have issues and you just have to make sure. Um but yeah, I like personally I can't donate or anything right now because like I said, I'm still trying to save up from my move. Was a financial investment for me and I'm still earning back on that investment, which is why I'm glad my apartment did not burn down. Because that would have hindered my investment significantly because due to still investing I and earning back on my investment, I do not have renter's insurance. However, a lot of insurances don't don't cover most of the natural disasters that occur in the area, unfortunately. Um, and also, and this was also a problem for a lot of the homes around here, is a lot of insurance companies were pooling their insurance before the fires hit homes, or just recently had canceled insurance policies with non-renewal. So a lot of homes were uninsured because of the insurance pooling out shortly before. Um, some of which I think was occurring during the fires. They're like, "Oh, a fire's coming at your home? You're no longer qualified for our insurance. Our insurance is only for people who don't have fire approaching their homes." And it's like, "Cool. That's great." So, so I know that was a problem for a lot of people as well. But yeah, I'll learn more. So far I've been kind of isolated from besides like what information I have sought out. I haven't like directly encountered. Yeah, yeah, there's a reason insurance has the people have the opinion the way they do. Um, but I haven't like done too much to like you know, like I said, I mostly know my perspective right now, and I've kind of been staying at home this whole time, so I don't really know what the general vibe is, but I'll definitely, know a lot more about what the situation's like for people on Tuesday when I go back to work. So we'll see. But yeah, in the meantime, need to rest up. So I'm gonna go. Thanks for hanging out, everyone, and for chatting or for lurking if you lurked. And thank you, VOD watchers too. I appreciate you. And sorry the first 15 minutes of this VOD on Twitch is gonna be silent. My bad, I'm stupid. And you didn't miss anything. I repeated everything that needed to be said, so don't worry about it. Um, and hmm, yeah, you can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky and Instagram, and I guess on TikTok if you want to give it a go. And you can subscribe to me on YouTube too. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow night for Spooky Saturday. And have a good day in the meantime, everyone. Goodbye, goodbye.